In the world today, protecting a country's borders is vital.
It is seen as a gateway to the UK.
These are the men and women in uniform responsible for safeguarding Ireland's borders. Stopping.
Look at me, behind the yellow line.
Searching.
Have you been stopped at a checkpoint before?
We just listened to me.
And seizing drugs, arms and illegal goods.
If anyone tries to harm me, that dog will tear them to shreds.
Saving lives.
I'd say about 200 kilometres per hour.
And protecting Ireland's inhabitants and millions of visiting tourists.
You could have been here 100 times. It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get in the 101st time.
They police the ports.
But you have to make sure there's definitely nobody underneath the vehicle.
The airports.
Why did you tell me you weren't working?
And the roads.
These are very badly damaged straps.
If you can't drive the truck, shouldn't be on the road.
These are the Border Interceptors. Coming up, at Shannon Airport, it looks like no visa, no entry. Will this traveller be sent packing?
Just get you to take a seat there. Yeah. He could be from the likes of the Philippines or far-flung corners of the world.
A driver refuses to give her true identity. But what has she got to hide?
So either you're giving me a false name or... Well, I've no match for that.
And Disney arrive in town. And with it comes a security lockdown for Dublin Port. Situated off the Atlantic coastline on the Shannon estuary, Shannon Airport is the gateway to the southwest of Ireland, giving travellers easy access to Limerick, Galway and beyond. It's the third largest of Ireland's airports, with over 1.7 million passengers travelling through it in 2017.
Are you golfing? Maybe next time. You take care, sir.
The airport's busiest routes are between London, New York and Boston.
So you're a fiddle player, sir?
No, piper.
Oh, you're a piper, yeah?
From a security perspective, the airport has a unique and vital relationship with transatlantic flights.
We're the first port of call here in Shannon for transatlantic traffic. If they get into difficulty,
No, my dear, thank you.
they pass that point of no return where they can't turn back from America and they must keep going to the western seaboard, so we're it.
So border control here remains tight. People attempting to enter illegally may find themselves in a very bad position.
Shannon doesn't have daily return flights to some of the airports preferred by would-be illegal immigrants, with the result that anyone that might arrive here illegally could be looking at up to a week inside a Limerick prison pending a return flight.
Oh, yeah? You're with that gang, yeah? Yeah.
It's estimated that there are upwards of 26,000 undocumented workers in Ireland.
You're okay, girl, you're okay, there's no panic.
Many are foreign nationals illegally working in the country,
How you doing?
having arrived on tourist or limited work visas and then disappearing.
Thank you.
A non-EU resident has just flown into Shannon Airport and has arrived at Immigration Officer Niall Camp's desk. This is no simple case of stamping and letting him through, though. He's carrying an unusual amount of paperwork, and of much greater significance, he doesn't have a visa. No visa usually means no entry.
I tell you, just get you to take a seat there. Here, I'll call you back in 5 minutes.
He's told to take a seat and can only wait to find out if he'll be allowed into the country.
Talk to you in 5 minutes. Thank you. That man behind me now, that gentleman behind me, he could be from the likes of the Philippines or far-flung corners of the world. We're not too concerned what country he comes from, as long as he is who he says he is. But there's a small bit of paperwork involved with him, so just put him aside, not to delay the queue too much. It'll do. There's only 2 minutes.
The entire flight is being processed, and the passenger is still waiting. He'll have to stay put until Officer Camp is ready to see him.
How you doing?
The passenger is called back to the desk. He's got to hope that the paperwork he's carrying will be enough to allow him into Ireland.
How long will you be staying for? Welcome back. Thank you. Now, how are you doing?
Yep.
Officer Kampf is aware that he has arrived in the country without a visa. And with no visa, there's a very real chance he'll be sending him packing on the next flight home.
Have you been here before?
Yeah.
However, having gone through his paperwork, he's identified as a working international fisherman. And he's carrying a seaman's book. It's a record of his service working at sea and allows him entry into a country without a visa if he's immediately joining a ship's crew.
Do you know the name of the ship you're boarding?
Valiant.
The Arklow Valiant? Yeah. Working on ships all his life. And for him to correctly enter a country with the amount of visas he'd require, it would be an impossibility, or very difficult at least. So what he has is a seaman's book. It's a type of a passport for the high seas. Seaman's book, passport. Thank you very much. Best of luck.
With all the paperwork done, he now has 24 hours to join his ship. Garda traffic officers McMahon and Fay are on patrol around Dublin Port, one of the busiest entry points to the Republic of Ireland.
Attention.
Here's some reason. What are we looking at?
Their automatic number plate recognition system has raised a flag, and they head to intercept the car.
Yeah, I drive off from a fuel station.
When was the warning put on there, Control?
The car has driven off from a filling station the night before without paying for goods. They track it down and pull it over.
What do you need to find, driver? Hello. Is this your own car, madam?
It is, yeah.
What's your name?
Nicola Thompson.
Nicola Thompson.
Yeah.
What's your date of birth, Nicola?
28 of 5th,
Yeah.
1974.
Nicola, can you tell me who was driving the car last night around 9 o'clock?
I was.
You were. And the car was up in Navan last night at 9 o'clock at a filling station. It left without paying for wine and for oil. You don't know anything about that? Tango Bravo 208. Control, could you oblige with a driver lookup, please? Surname is Thompson, and the date of birth is the 28th of the 5th, 1974. Nicola, I'm not getting any match for any driving licence assigned to a Nicola Thompson, the 28th of the 5th, 1974. So either you're giving me a false name or... Well, I've no match for that. Anyone who has a licence in the country, their details are stored on their computer, and there's no match for Nicola Thompson, the 28th of May, 74.
No, it's 28th of May. No, it's the 9th of August, 1988.
You said the 28th of May, 74.
No, sorry.
You tell me 88. You're not 1988. So start giving me your correct name and address. I'll arrest you and take you to the Garda station, and we'll verify your details there. So give me, pardon me? Noreen. Noreen. Byrns. What's your date of birth, Noreen? 28th of the 5th? 71. One moment, please. Would you mind trying a different name, please, for the driver lookup? Burns, Byrnes, date of birth the 28th of the 5th, 1971. No, this is supposed to be a Noreen, but no match, no match.
Having now been given two false names, will the Garda ever find out who the driver really is? While patrolling the major routes outside Dublin, linking the city with the ports, airport and the rest of Ireland, police pulled over a truck that was driving erratically and exceeding the speed limit. The vehicle was immediately seized and the driver charged with dangerous driving. But suspecting there is more going on with this truck than meets the eye, the police have now called in Senior Transport Officer Seamus Lynch from the Road Safety Authority to investigate.
The driver has to comply with certain rules. They're called the driver's hours regulations. So the driver has to take prescribed breaks, he's got to take prescribed daily rest and weekly rest periods. And he's also restricted to a certain number of driving hours. So the purpose of the tachograph then basically is to keep a record of all them breaks, rest periods and driving times. By manipulating the tachograph, they're disguising all of that, you know?
Officer Lynch begins his investigation by printing out the distance travelled data from the tachograph, as well as the recorded engine speed. But the data doesn't add up.
Now, when I look at the vehicle speed here, right, it's telling me that the vehicle never moved. That's fine. The guy could have been at rest that day. However, the engine speed between 600 and 800 revs, there's a 36-minute period there. From 800 to 1,000 revs, we've got 53 minutes. So if I add all these up, compare these two printouts, the vehicle speed, 0 for 24 hours. But this is telling me that the truck was actually moving for 7 hours and 23 minutes. You know, there's no doubt there's a device here somewhere.
Officer Lynch, suspecting the vehicle's tachograph has been illegally tampered with, decides to take the truck back on the road to test it.
Our tachograph is recording the fact that we're actually driving. That's what it's supposed to do. The speedometer is working, and it's based on the information we've got from the calibrated speed gun used by the sergeant here. It's working correctly. The two speeds are matching, and the odometer is recording the actual distance travelled. So I'm happy that there's no device being used at the moment as we're driving this vehicle.
Everything may have worked correctly in the test, but Officer Lynch suspects there is an illegal and highly dangerous device fitted to the vehicle. Now he needs to find the device to prove it. The Garda Traffic Corps have pulled over a car. It's suspected of being involved in a recent shoplifting incident. With her child in the back seat, the driver has been in no hurry to tell the officers the truth. And they're still trying to find out her identity.
Have you any ID with you at all?
No, not with myself.
Have you a bank card or... No? Is that medication you have in your bag there?
She finally provides a social security card.
That's the real thing now, is it? Yeah. Okay, so in third go. Yeah, I've been given a social services card now, control, and if you wouldn't mind trying that for me, please.
And there's more to this woman's story. She's got previous.
You just released out of prison back in November. What was that for? What was that for? Shoplifting. And 9 o'clock last night, the car was up in Navan, shoplifting wine and... Pardon?
Not only has she been inside, but she shouldn't be driving the car at all.
She's no licence. She was disqualified for 10 years back in 2003 and didn't get a licence since. You're going to have to get someone to come down. The car's going to be seized under Section 41, OK? You have no licence or no insurance. You can't have insurance with no licence.
The woman's desperate. She tries to bargain with the Garda, tipping them off about a drug shipment heading for Dublin.
When I say a deal, I mean a deal, and you'll get what the best lot of heroin that ever came into Dublin. It's not who you know, it's what you know.
You don't want a load of imaginary heroin, do you? You sure?
But they're not biting. The car is being seized. The woman retrieves her child and belongings from the vehicle and leaves on foot. The car's on its way to the pound. Another illegal driver is off the roads, and the officers can move on to the next call. Dublin Port is a key entry point on Ireland's border, handling almost 50% of all trade. But as well as cargo and ferries, it's also popular with cruise liners. A record 151 cruises were confirmed for the 2018 season, bringing just over 270,000 visitors to Dublin and contributing €50 million to the local economy. Today, the port is welcoming the 300-metre-long Disney Magic, with its 2,700 passengers for the first time. With the huge ship comes a massive security operation. Head of Port Security, Tom Kavanagh, is overseeing proceedings.
Somebody do an interior suite and just mirror underneath. The ship want them checked again when they come back in the afternoon.
man, yeah.
This cruise ship is the Disney Magic, and it's the first time she's been here, and it's a real good thing for us and for the passengers to come to Warren for the first time. Disney is a global brand, and we're really enjoying having them here. There's a great atmosphere. There's an entertainment package put on here by Dublin Port. There's always a high level of security in the mall, but this particular one has come straight from the US. So the level of security afforded to this one is incredible. We're really on our top of our game for this particular one.
At the entrance to the port, Security Officer Dermot Weldon is overseeing checkpoint security. Every single vehicle coming in and out of this part of the port has to be authorised, either because they work there or because of the cruise ship's arrival.
I have the manifest here, visitors list. So everybody who's going, visiting that ship or going onto that ship has to be checked with ID and their name on this list. If it's not on it, they don't get in. Simple as that. No excuses, no acceptance.
For the buses and coaches which have arrived to pick up disembarking passengers, there's extra security checks. As Dublin Port is a potential high-profile target for a terrorist attack, the security team have to be vigilant, looking out for anything that might raise suspicion.
Security, whether you like it or not, the main aspect in everybody's life. Even if you have an alarm on your house, you have to make sure no one robs your house. It's the same with the cruise liner. You have to make sure no one robs the cruise liner, no one blows up the cruise liner, no one's trying to blow up the cruise liner. It's all about security.
All the vehicles pass their security checks, and on the dockside, the cruise passengers can board their buses to go on excursions around Dublin. The passengers may have left, but with the cruise ship still in port, security remains at the highest level.
Disney could be considered a target for terrorists or subversives. We will not allow anybody cause a problem here in Dublin. That's what they want and that's what they get.
So far, everything has gone to plan. But until the ship leaves, the security team must remain on high alert. Once the passengers return from their excursions, the ship sets sail for the next leg of its journey. Finally, the security team can relax until the next cruise liner of the season arrives. A speeding truck has been seized by the Garda and its driver arrested for dangerous driving. But there's also a suspicion that the truck has been tampered with to avoid safety regulations. Road Safety Authority Officer Seamus Lynch has checked the truck's data and is certain it's fitted with an illegal device that stops the tachograph working correctly.
When I compare these two printouts, the vehicle speed 0, but this is telling me that the truck was actually moving for 7 hours and 23 minutes.
Now he needs to prove it.
What's probably fitted to this particular vehicle is a canvas manipulation device.
Having come across these devices before, Officer Lynch has an idea of how it works.
To trigger the device, we've got to turn the ignition on without actually engaging the engine. Now, Darren, if you want to put your foot on the accelerator, I'll count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, starter. The device will be activated. And we will then proceed to drive and we'll actually see what effect does this device have on the truck. Pulling out there now. You can clearly see the tachograph is not recording driving. We're actually not travelling at all according to the speedometer. It's at 0.
Using a quiet stretch of road, the officer driving puts his foot down.
We've upped the speed, so let's see what the calibrated gun tells us. We're now down 122. The speed limit is 90. The driver has no idea what speed he's driving at. The speedometer's not working, so he hasn't a clue. You've got to bear in mind this is a truck. A truck like this can't stop in a hurry. And usually the people who use these devices, they're used for the purpose of disguising the fact that they're driven longer hours than they're supposed to, they haven't got the required breaks or rest periods, so they're more than likely fatigued drivers. And the statistics show that 1 in 5 accidents are caused by fatigue. It's extremely dangerous, and you know, I would imagine that the people who fit these devices give absolutely no consideration whatsoever to road safety.
Armed with the evidence that the tachograph has been tampered with, Officer Lynch now needs to find the device. his team starts looking for anything unusual. And it's not long before they find what they're looking for.
Is there a black box I see here? We've seen these before. Auto CAN bus data log. Going to have a look inside, okay? Right, there we have a printed circuit board. So what I'm just going to try and do a little bit of a test. Turn the engine on now, okay? Now if my suspicions are correct, I would expect to see a green light or something else. 4, 5, 6. There's your green light. She's now activated.
With the suspicions confirmed, the evidence Officer Lynch has uncovered will be used to prosecute the truck's operator and driver. The haulage industry is highly competitive, leading to companies taking risks to complete the work on time. But on this occasion, they haven't got away with it. They now face a fine of up to €5,000 and even 6 months in jail.
It's all down to being motivated by money at the end of the day. The more work they carry out, the more they get paid. So, you know, I presume they look at the tachograph and driver's hours regulations as being too restrictive. But the problem with that is, obviously, you're compromising road safety and the conditions for drivers. These drivers are often, you know, made to use these devices, and they're ending up driving 16, 17, 18 hours a day and not getting adequate rest periods. Quite a small-looking device, isn't it? But what it can do can have pretty serious consequences. If one was to consciously think of road safety, you wouldn't put in one of these.
In the world today, protecting a country's borders is vital.
It is seen as a gateway to the UK.
These are the men and women in uniform responsible for safeguarding Ireland's borders. Stopping.
Look at me, behind the yellow line.
Searching.
Have you been stopped at a checkpoint before?
We just listened to me.
And seizing drugs, arms and illegal goods.
If anyone tries to harm me, that dog will tear them to shreds.
Saving lives.
I'd say about 200 kilometres per hour.
And protecting Ireland's inhabitants and millions of visiting tourists.
You could have been here 100 times. It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get in the 101st time.
They police the ports.
But you have to make sure that definitely nobody underneath the vehicle.
The airports.
Why did you tell me you weren't working?
And the roads.
These are very badly damaged tramps.
If you can't drive the truck, shouldn't be on the road.
These are the Border Interceptors. Coming up, border forces keep a watchful eye as families travel through the airport.
Who are you travelling with, Michael? Is that your dad, is it?
Dublin Port Security have their hands full across the site.
How are you? Well, what you doing? Tell Liga what you're doing.
And driving on his mobile phone is only the start of this driver's bad day.
On another way with a phone up your face. Not exactly safe. Not good driving.
As Europe's most westerly airport, Shannon handles an increasing number of transatlantic flights. With increased arrivals from outside Europe, comes increased scrutiny of passengers by officers on passport and immigration. Officer Dara Malloy checks that passports and paperwork are in order before allowing anyone into Ireland. As well as keeping the border secure, Officer Malloy is also tasked with keeping passengers safe. And that particularly includes children.
Hello.
It's estimated that 1.2 million children around the world are illegally trafficked every year.
Trafficking does happen. It happens all over the world for different reasons. But hopefully we're trying to prevent it here. But it does happen. Child trafficking does happen.
Immigration staff are constantly on the lookout for unusual activity. Signs of threat, coercion, abduction, or abuse of power to transport people across the borders.
We would be able to draw from our experience to make sure the child is happy with the person they're travelling with, whether it be a parent or a guardian.
And who are you travelling with today?
Mum. Say yes, please.
He's your own anyway. All right.
Thank you. Thanks ever so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
With the correct ID, the family are waved through.
Now, sir. Is that to Dad, is it?
That's my mum. Come over here.
Yeah, that's just a passport there, just to make sure that you the match up. It's just security to make sure that the kids are, are with the parents. That's lovely.
All right.
Thanks very much.
Another family arrive at Detective Garda Seamus McMahon's desk. But there's a problem.
Is there just 2 passports, sir?
It seems the family were led to believe they didn't need passports for the children to travel to Ireland.
They do here, Mum.
Since they don't, if they're travelling with an adult and they're under 16.
Through Irish immigration.
Just said flying from Britain to Ireland. It's on the Aer Lingus website.
Officer McMahon, happy that the family is all together, allows them through.
We don't have a website, ma'am, but I think it's a given that you produce your passport in any country that you go to.
It does say that.
Thanks very much, thank you. They were accompanied by 2 children. She handed 2 passports in to me, but she never produced passports for the children. She seemed to have an issue with that. You do need to produce your passport. That was the only way I could verify that they were all travelling together and they were actually children of that couple.
In his booth, Officer Malloy is confronted by an unaccompanied boy.
And who are you travelling with today? Where's your dad? Okay. Come here. Are you sure he's there, is he? Okay. Will you take a seat over there for 2 seconds until he comes over to you? Is that okay? No, that's lovely. Thank you.
While he checks other arrivals, Officer Malloy keeps a close eye on the boy.
Can you see him?
Until his father finally arrives at the desk.
Oh, you're the daddy, yeah? He got ahead of you. I just to make sure he was with an adult, you get me. Mind yourselves, lads. Take care now. Take care.
And Officer Malloy can safely let the boy carry on with his journey. Running 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year, activity around the 600-acre site of Dublin Port never stops. It means port security have got their work cut out protecting it. Keeping everything moving, people safe, and ensuring this vital border entry point into Ireland is secure.
You'd have a lot of traffic in and out, so much happening, it's so busy, there's people everywhere, there's traffic everywhere, there's movement everywhere. It's a big job.
Officer Dermot Weldon is on patrol checking for everything, from stowaways to suspect vehicles. As well as ground patrols, the port security team have a vast network of CCTV cameras. Back in the control room, Dermot is on the lookout for anything suspicious.
Left-hand side there, camera 35.
The officers have to be ready to deal with any incident, night or day. A truck parked up overnight in the port has caught fire. Following emergency incident protocols, the team raise the alarm and secure the area. It allows the fire service to quickly get the blaze under control, limiting its spread and potentially saving lives, and avoiding thousands of pounds worth of damage. The size of Dublin Port also makes it a tempting location for criminals intent on illegal activity, with opportunists looking for any advantage. But their appearance on the port's CCTV means they won't be getting away with it. Used in conjunction with the security teams on the ground, the CCTV puts the criminals on the back foot. From illegal immigrants trying to break into the country, tracking stolen or wanted vehicles, or simply in hot pursuit.
Hello, Port Operations, how may I help you?
Back in the control room, Security Officer Weldon has spotted something suspicious. He's concerned about an illegally parked lorry. On the ground, Security Officer Paddy Rooney is sent to investigate.
Control to Alpha 3. I know it's that gate, Paddy, because you rang before.
A stationary truck on site could be entirely innocent, but it could also be a sign that something is wrong.
I'm just going to wake this fella up, okay? So I'll be down there, put the camera on, okay?
This driver is about to get a wake-up call, port security style.
Good morning. How are you this morning? Tired.
Quizzing the driver, Paddy explains that he's parked his truck in a no parking area of the port.
It is a restricted area down here, and like I said, there is markings on the road. We could have easily put a clamp on you and wait till you got up and charge €80. But unfortunately, I'm in good humour here today because I'm going on holidays. Are you long here?
2 o'clock.
Drivers are required by law to take proper rest breaks before they can start driving again.
So how many hours rest do you want?
10 hours on now.
Okay. Right, I'm going to give you an extra hour anyway to get yourself sorted anyway. So at 11:15. Okay, so I'll give you about an hour, so okay? Yeah, very good, okay. Have a good day, okay, thank you.
Understanding of the situation, Officer Rooney gives him time to get himself sorted.
We don't mind them actually parking around areas, but we normally would like to see them out here by lunchtime. So his tachograph is up at another half an hour or whatever. And so I gave him a full hour to get himself dressed.
Elsewhere in the port, security have received reports of horses grazing on the side of the road.
Okay, we're just finishing D7.
While the control room monitors the situation, Security Officer Rooney heads to investigate.
Yeah, oh, we have 2 of them. Good man indeed. Excellent. Oh, how are you? Oh, what you doing? It's illegal what you're doing.
The horses pose a security risk to passengers and the many vehicles that use the port daily. And they're trespassing on private property. It's Officer Rooney's job to move the 2 men and their horses on as quickly as possible.
You can start putting the horses back in the box. Is he allowed? Okay, thank you.
With the horses sent packing, it's now just a matter of Officer Rooney checking where he makes his next step. It's estimated that 30,000 people cross the border between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland every day. Policing the M1 motorway, one of the busiest routes between the 2 countries, are Traffic Corps officers Paddy McElroy and Phil Earl. Driving an unmarked car, they're watching for suspicious and illegal activity.
Driving on the motorway here, we're 120 kilometre zone, and he's got the phone up to his face.
Flashing their lights and pulling him over.
Get the yellow jackets on.
Officer McElroy is about to ruin this driver's day.
On the motorway with a phone up to your face, not exactly safe. Not good driving.
The guy is already looking at an automatic fixed penalty fine.
See, driver's license.
Officer McElroy wants to see some ID. The officer's car is also fitted with an ANPR scanner, allowing them to immediately perform background checks on vehicles.
No ID on him whatsoever.
The ANPR has pinged through a result, and Officer Earl has some further bad news for the driver.
Insurance is out, tax is out.
With no insurance or tax, the vehicle will now get seized.
We requested a tow truck to come to the scene. This vehicle is going to be seized under Section 40 of the Road Traffic Act. The driver, of which he has no documentation with him, it appears that I think he's refusing to give details.
Officer McElroy isn't done though with this driver. Suspicious that he won't give them anything other than a name, the officers call it in.
Control, can we get a person check when you have a chance?
For the moment, this driver is going nowhere. And things could be about to get a lot worse. More than 20,000 foreign students travel to Ireland to study every year, many of them arriving at the country's largest airport in Dublin. With student visas being one way illegal immigrants enter a country before disappearing, passport and immigration officers need to make sure students are coming into Ireland for the right reasons. In order to prove they're in Ireland to study, students are required to have a letter of invitation from the college or university they're going to be studying at. A flight from the US has just landed, and a male student has arrived at Officer Mick Lally's booth. Before Officer Lally lets the student into Ireland, he'll need to see the relevant ID and paperwork. But there's a problem.
Did they not explain to you you required a letter of introduction here, no? Do you have any documentation from the school at all, no?
There are emails of like letters saying...
Do you have anything printed out?
I don't have them printed out.
With no printed documents, there's no way of Officer Lally confirming the student's story, which means he's going nowhere. The young man desperately tries to find email confirmation from the college. The only problem is that he can't get a phone connection.
And why are you here?
Trip through the school, a Maymester.
In another booth, Officer Ray Flannery is also having issues with a newly arrived student.
Do you have a letter from the college?
I do not.
You should have. So I have no proof as to why you're here.
A lack of the correct paperwork means this student is also going nowhere.
Should I get a professor?
Yeah.
She calls over her teacher to see if there's anything they can do.
Generally, a student group will have a letter from the college coming to, explaining why they're here, length of time, etc. Of course, they're going to study, and they'll have a list of the students. Do you have any documents from the school that you're coming to study? Student with no documentation. I have no proof. They could be here for any reason.
It's organised through Franklin Pierce and UCD.
Right. Talk to somebody in UCD. You should have a letter from UCD saying that you're coming here to study for a period of and the amount of students.
Back at Officer Lally's booth, and mobile phone connection, or lack of it, is still causing a hold-up.
And what course are you doing here?
What's that?
What will you be studying?
I'm studying physics.
You're not used to Wi-Fi, no? It's in 3G, so you're not on the Wi-Fi at all. And you're a physics student.
Yeah.
Open up which letter I need there.
Eventually, the man finds the email and shows it to Officer Lally.
And the last sentence is, you are recommended to retain a copy of this letter with you.
Excellent.
For immigration purposes.
Having given the student a mile ticking off, and a reminder to next time read the travel details, Officer Lally stamps the student's passport and lets him through.
He's a physics student, you don't think he would be up to date with technology, but you could clearly see it on the top of the phone. He hadn't got the Wi-Fi insignia on it, so we got it sorted in the end anyway, between the two of us.
At Officer Flannery's booth, having explained how things are supposed to work, the officer uses his discretion and allows the student to enter Ireland.
You part of the study group? And we explain to them procedures going forward, what they need to do, and they will talk to the relative colleges, and hopefully next time that will be sorted.
Patrolling the busy M1 motorway that connects Southern Ireland with Northern Ireland, traffic officers Paddy McElroy and Phil Earle have pulled over a driver for being on his mobile phone.
Insurance is out, tax is out.
And having found out the vehicle isn't taxed or insured, they've seized it.
I need to see his driver's licence.
But unable to verify his identity, the white van man has to wait as the officers call in for a check on him.
Control, can we get a person check when you have a chance? Roger that. Just a third address we have on the system from an alias that he uses. Doesn't seem to be getting convicted much, but seems to be coming to the attention of Gardaí quite a bit.
With the name appearing to be an alias, and the man suspected of possible criminal activity, it looks like he's going nowhere.
I think I'll bring him back to verify who he is.
The simple act of using his mobile phone while driving has just landed this driver in bigger trouble.
Being arrested under Section 107 of the Road Traffic Act. What that means is I'm not happy with your identification or where you're living. So we're going to bring you back to a local Garda station and we're going to verify who you are and that there's no outstanding issues or warrants.
With his true identity still in doubt, it's not just his vehicle getting seized. He's nicked too. And it's a chauffeur-driven ride to the police station. Further north on the M1 motorway, just south of the border with Northern Ireland in County Louth, a checkpoint has been set up for the Road Safety Association.
Well, he'll take one anyway. Yeah. So, thanks.
With its proximity to a border crossing point that is used by thousands of vehicles every day, it is the ideal spot for Road Safety Officer Jim Fleming to carry out spot checks on haulage vehicles.
Morning, sir. How are you doing? I'm from the Road Safety Authority. Jim Fleming is my name. I just need to have a look at your recording equipment and your licence and documentation for the vehicle, please. Would you mind moving over and I'll hop in there and have a look at that?
Haulage vehicles operating anywhere in the EU need an operator's licence to carry goods. Carrying out unlicensed road transport operations can result in a fine of up to €500,000 and/or 3 years in prison.
You have your driving licence and a CPC, and you've got the licence for the truck or the operator's licence?
Yeah, operator's licence, no.
And do you have a copy of the community authorisation? It's an A4 page to be engaged in the carriage of goods in the European Union.
Jim has pulled over a truck that is registered in Northern Ireland. To transport goods across the border, the operator needs a permit, and this driver doesn't have one.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just take a few details from you, and it's a matter for the company. It's an obligation on the company to give to you. So, okay. The position at the moment, as far as I can make out so far with this driver, is that the out-of-state hauliers. He's a Northern Ireland operator. To engage in the carriage of goods within the European Union, outside his own jurisdiction, they need to carry what's called a community authorisation. It's essentially a licence for international carriage, and he doesn't have that. And more than likely, the company will be summoned for not having the correct documentation on board. In the meantime, I'll just go and have a quick look at his driver card to make sure that it's okay. Tells me he hasn't been driving in quite a while, so from a driver's hours perspective, he's fine. It's just to do with the operator licensing question is the only problem we have here.
Jim reads the driver his rights.
You just have to caution you that you're not obliged to anything unless you wish to do so, but whatever you do say, maybe take it down and write and give it an evidence. You understand that, yeah?
Luckily for him, though, it's his employer, the operator of the vehicle, who is responsible for ensuring the correct paperwork is in place. They'll receive notice of summons to court.
Okay, good man. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Cheers now.
Not having the required permit is not something Jim sees a lot of.
I've encountered a couple, probably quite some time ago. Any vehicle I would have inspected in recent times, as in certainly this year, I haven't come across any.
As the truck pulls away, the police stop another vehicle for Jim to check over.
Mind if I have a look at your tacho, please? And do you have a copy of the community authorisation for the carriage of goods?
Not
Amazingly, this vehicle is in exactly the same situation, without the required permit in the truck. Again, Jim reads the driver his rights.
You're not obliged to anything unless you wish to do so. Whatever you do say, maybe take it and write and give an evidence.
And another truck operator will be receiving a court summons for the infringement.
But that's 2 in a row today, so just a bad day, maybe.
In the world today, protecting a country's borders is vital.
It is seen as a gateway to the UK.
These are the men and women in uniform responsible for safeguarding Ireland's borders. Stopping.
Look at me, behind the yellow line.
Searching.
Have you been stopped at a checkpoint before?
We just listened to me.
And seizing drugs, arms and illegal goods.
If anyone tries to harm me, that dog will tear them to shreds.
saving lives.
I'd say about 200 kilometres per hour.
And protecting Ireland's inhabitants and millions of visiting tourists.
You could have been here 100 times. It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get in the 101st time.
They police the ports.
But you have to make sure there's definitely nobody underneath the vehicle.
The airports.
Why did you tell me you weren't working?
And the roads.
These are very badly damaged trams.
If you can't drive the truck, shouldn't be on the road.
These are the border interceptors. Coming up. The Garda Traffic Corps are in hot pursuit of a stolen vehicle.
Permission to use Stinger if we get in a safe position, please.
Illegal immigrants make a run for it. Can port security catch them before they cross the border? And at Cork Airport, there's an Interpol alert.
Sistema Interpol y hit.
Over 2.3 million passengers pass through the doors of Cork Airport every year. And every single one of them must pass through passport and immigration. On the desk today are officers Noel Maxwell and James Ahern. Their job is to spot anyone acting suspiciously or trying to enter the country illegally.
Your travel document.
Border control entails the vetting of EU persons and non-EU persons. See that they're suitable for entering the state.
Are you living in Ireland?
Hello. This is border control, so by arriving here, they are scrutinised as though it could be their first point of entry into the EU.
In 2017, nearly 500,000 people were denied entry to EU countries by border guards.
We are high up there in human rights stakes.
It is seen as a gateway to the UK.
We have an economy that is back on track after a recession, and working and living conditions here are of quite a high standard.
I suppose the main thing with border control policing is experience.
Off the phone. Take your card. Stand behind the yellow line. Excuse me. Hello. Look at me. Behind the yellow line. All right. Very good.
You are watching, you are listening, and you're carefully scrutinising people as they're coming towards you in the lines and the queues, and then you're following that up with questions and scanning of documentation.
At an international airport like Cork, immigration officers must face people from all over the world.
Why did you tell me you weren't working?
Because I don't understand your question.
There are occasions where people may want to use the fact that they are not fluent in English. That creates a problem.
A woman has just flown in from Spain and is at Officer Maxwell's desk. And there's a problem with her EU identity card. The card has had a hit on the Interpol database. 30 million travel documents are reported lost or stolen across Europe every year. Counterfeit and stolen documents are a key factor in international terrorism, with criminals paying up to €10,000 for them on the black market. Back at Cork Airport, with the woman's limited English, it's tough going for Officer Maxwell. Good job his colleague James Ahern speaks Spanish.
¿Tienes pasaporte?
No, no traigo pasaporte, o sea, ni me he molestado en sacarme el pasaporte.
Aquí tenemos sistema Interpol y hit. Perdiste esta carta.
¿Que si la perdí?
Sí.
No, la perdí
¿Seguro?
hace tiempo y me la volví a sacar. De hecho, tiene súper poco tiempo.
Yeah, she said she lost it for a short while.
According to her, she reported her ID card stolen, but has since found it. She says she thought she could still use it for travel. As her card's been flagged by Interpol, the guards need to make sure she is who she says she is. All the woman can do now is wait. Car crime in Ireland is big business. Using the busy seaport at Dublin, criminals are able to steal cars to order and have them out of the country in a matter of hours. Operation Waste was set up to combat the gangs involved. Since 2015, it's estimated that over €3 million worth of stolen cars have been recovered. Garda traffic officers Damien Duffy and John Caitlin are working to patrol and secure the Irish borders in the never-ending fight against crime.
We have a great emphasis on policing the port for a number of reasons. It's a point of entry and exit into the state. We have to keep our eye on people and goods coming and going that shouldn't be. There's an awful lot of very high-spec, very high-value cars being taken. Very often the keys will have been fished outside of the letterbox. That could happen in the early hours of the morning. And by 6 a.m, those cars are in containers, they're on boats, they're on ships, and they're leaving the country for destinations in Africa and Eastern Europe.
It's not long before a call comes over the radio.
Approaching clear at the moment, blue Audi A6.
It's exactly the type of vehicle that is smuggled across the border overnight. They head to intercept.
Control from Tango Bravo 101, permission to use Stinger if we get in a safe position, please.
Too many cars.
It's too dangerous for the Stinger.
No, we've been told not to use it because it's a motorway. There's too many live lanes of traffic, it's not safe. I'd say reverse, chap, because...
So the officers lie in wait for the stolen car.
Here he comes now, full speed.
Oh, lovely Audi.
Oh, Ford Focus.
Oh, the RS. Oh. What's your look? Follow on. Oh, I'd say about 200 kilometers per hour.
The stolen Audi disappears fast into the distance. There's no way these boys in their standard issue patrol car are going to keep up.
My God. That's some speed, isn't it, guys? It's absolutely scary.
Luckily, several colleagues in more high-powered vehicles are already hot on its tail.
Straight through the roundabout. Abandon.
Officers Duffy and Caitlin follow close behind, ready to offer backup at any moment.
Statement has been taken.
Amazing. That is a brilliant result.
The vehicle that was being pursued all the way from Laois has just been brought to a conclusion. The driver has been arrested now as well. It turns out that the vehicle in question had been stolen with keys from a house in the Midlands. It's a Audi A6, nice car now. Half it in the wall.
He was going, God only knows what speed he was doing, way above any of the capacity of most of the patrol cars in our fleet. The risks are massive, they're absolutely massive. See the two cars here, either side of the marked patrol car in the roundabout? They're the cream of the crop, high-performance pursuit vehicles. If it wasn't for them two, there'd be no conclusion tonight.
So we have the vehicle that was stolen, recovered, minor damage, and we have one prisoner in custody, and most importantly, nobody was hurt. So it was a good result.
If it wasn't for the Garda Traffic Corps, the stolen Audi would have been across the border and out of the country by morning. Dublin Port covers over 600 acres and handles over 100,000 haulage vehicles a year, making protecting it no mean feat. Activity at the port never stops, and the site is monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by a network of CCTV cameras. In the control room, security officers Dermot Weldon and Paddy Rooney are viewing live feeds from the system.
Oh, there, the lad are working there. Control to Alpha 3.
They're on the front line in the battle against illegal immigrants who stop at nothing to try and make it across the border. And tonight is no exception. Having emerged from under a newly arrived truck, these people may believe they are home and dry, but their every move is now under surveillance. There's nowhere to run. In 2017, more than 10 people every 24 hours were stopped, refused entry, and deported out of the country. Coordinating a ground team into position, Port Security and the Garda are ready and waiting to spring their trap. After a long and dangerous journey, their attempt to enter the country has ended in capture. Tonight, this border is secure. Back at Cork Airport, a Spanish passenger is stuck airside. She's travelling on an ID card that's been flagged by Interpol as stolen.
Aquí tenemos sistema Interpol y HIT.
Finally, she's able to produce a Spanish driving licence. Now the guards must decide if the woman is who she says she is. It's entirely down to Officer Maxwell to decide if the woman should be allowed to enter Ireland.
Okay?
Sí, todo.
He reviews her paperwork and is satisfied. The woman is permitted to enter the country.
Okay, this is your driver's license. This is a letter explaining. Right, I don't know your English. Your English college will have to explain.
Dentro de 2 meses, sí.
Yeah.
Ahora no.
Tenemos que llevarte tarjeta, ¿ok?
El DNI.
Sí.
I must keep this, okay, because of this.
Vale. Bueno, gracias.
Gracias.
Hasta luego. Hasta luego.
She said that she had lost her card and obviously had reported it lost or stolen and then had found it again and now was reusing it. So it comes up as a hit on the system. So we're obliged then to act on that. She had her Spanish driver's license with her, so I was happy with her identity and that, and she's here for a specific reason in the country. So she'll have to go to our embassy and get a new travel document issued.
There are approximately 350,000 goods vehicles on the road in Ireland, travelling between the borders and from coastal ports to airports. It's the job of the Road Safety Authority, working with the police to enforce the rules that keep vehicles safe on Irish roads.
Brake pad indicator light on as well, like. Okay, so, yeah.
Today, Garda officer Liam Lawler is part of an RSA checkpoint in Carlow. Officer Lawler has pulled over a truck and is immediately concerned by what he sees.
The truck is fully loaded at the moment. Here at the back there's kegs, they're full, quite heavy actually, and there are other products on top of products here on the top, on the pallets. So you have a pallet of goods, then you have other products and other products on top of that again. So you have an unstable load. There's nothing holding this load here. The curtains are purely to keep the weather away from the product. This could be very dangerous if the load was to shift on a bend or on a roundabout or a sudden stop. It wouldn't be right to let them continue knowing that it is not a safe load.
Officer Lawler calls the truck owner to voice his concerns.
When we open the curtains on this, there are no gates or any form of load securing on it at all. A little bit disappointed that it's like this because, you know, anything can come through the curtains. They're purely a weather curtain, you know. We can't let them continue with the truck the way it is at the moment.
Driving with an unsecured load could mean 3 penalty points and a fine of up to €5,000 for the driver. Officer Lawler tells them that unless they can rectify the situation, the truck is going nowhere. It's not long before a van arrives carrying a set of gates for the beer truck. Officer Lawler supervises as they are fitted.
And I can tell you now,
why these were not put on before the truck left its depot is anyone's guess.
these are the gates that already obviously have been made for. They weren't made in the last hour since we stopped the truck. So they obviously have been made already and just hadn't been fitted. This changes this load completely. Obviously, with these cages, nothing can break free.
This time, the driver is sent on his way with just a warning, and a potentially lethal situation has been averted.
Had kegs of beer, he had crates of beer, and for one of those kegs to come off and to hit or to damage or to go through the windscreen of a car could have catastrophic effects, really.
Car and commercial vehicle smuggling is a major organised crime within Ireland. Knocked off vehicles are traded on the black market, with cars either used for crime or specific models stolen to order.
There's an awful lot of very high-spec, very high-value cars being taken. That could happen in the early hours of the morning. And by 6 a.m, those cars are in containers, they're on boats, they're on ships, and they're leaving the country for destinations in Africa and Eastern Europe.
Dublin Port handles around 400,000 shipping containers and trailers each year. Brand new vehicles are shipped in and out of the port daily, and it's while they're stored on site that opportunists strike. But getting the vehicles out of the country requires getting them past port security. On ground patrol, Security Officer Dermot Weldon is called to the port secure truck compound, where new vehicles are stored, awaiting collection. A man has handed over paperwork, claiming it allows him to take a truck. But Dermot is not convinced, and has called in colleague Paddy Rooney to take a look.
That guy taking out that
They decide they need to question the man further.
Now, should have went there in the first place.
With nothing to prove that the truck should be released to him, the officers need to work out if this is another case of vehicle theft.
This gentleman has a small little docket. The problem that we have here at the moment is he could have collected that docket inside for a load, then came over here hoping to get a €90,000 truck out of here.
Making the wrong decision will allow the driver to take €90,000 worth of truck out from under their noses.
He's not collecting a 40-foot unit. He's collecting a brand new crab. Heavy unit, 90,000 worth. So you come along on Monday morning, man comes down and looking for his cab unit. It's gone.
The man still insists he's supposed to be picking up the truck.
The gentleman has a parcel that they use for...
Paddy radios through to the security office to see if there's anything that might prove the truck can be released. But without the paperwork, it's bad news for the guy.
No, it's got to load. Straight to a new truck.
Paddy and Dermot have stuck to their guns. This truck is going nowhere. Dublin's busy port is located 20 minutes drive away from its international airport. These two key destinations require frequent freight deliveries transported between them. HGVs now use Dublin Port Tunnel. At 4.5 kilometres long, it easily connects the two locations, avoiding the city centre and shaving time off their journeys. The trucks are picking up jet fuel from ships docking at the port and transporting it to the airport to refuel planes. Carrying highly explosive loads through underground tunnels requires skilled drivers to drive extremely carefully, as tunnel fires can be catastrophic. Patrolling in and around the tunnel today are Garda traffic officers Philip Earle and Paddy McElroy. Travelling in an unmarked car has its advantages.
We're being flashed by the car behind. We're doing 8.
What they're witnessing now is a cause for major alarm. Heading for the airport, this driver appears to be in a hurry. Trucks travelling over 80 kilometres per hour require at least 100 metres to stop safely.
Here we go, it's going for an overtake.
Speeding in a confined space and carrying explosive material, there's only one guaranteed response. This driver has been caught fair and square, and by the one cop he doesn't want to meet.
That's some disgraceful driving. I'll introduce myself. My name's Garda Philip Earle. I'm attached to regional traffic base at Dublin Castle on the commercial vehicle unit. So in other words, the man who does the trucks. So we can stop all that carry on now. If you can't drive the truck, shouldn't be on the road.
I'm well able to drive the truck.
Well, that's not what I'm after seeing back there. I'm after seeing you within 10 feet of a vehicle, flashing your lights. You're aware what happens when you crash one of those in a tunnel?
Very much so.
And that's the way we drive.
Well, I'm standing on the brakes. I'm actually standing on the brakes.
So you're telling me you can't control the vehicle?
Oh, we can't. That's
Well, it didn't look like it. This is the excuse you're telling me.
We could have been an old lady driving in front of him, or a vulnerable road user, where they could have panicked in that sort of situation, where they see a large truck coming up behind them. They could either change lanes, cause another vehicle to brake unnecessarily, or there's any sort of different scenarios that can unfold as part of an aggressive driver like this.
He's basically saying that he couldn't slow down the truck enough. I mean, it's incredible stuff to be saying. A professional driver with all the driver licenses, he's carrying fuel destined for Dublin Airport, and he's driving in that manner.
Exasperated by his explanation, it's within the cop's power to take the vehicle off the road.
I'm going to give you a ticket for driving without due care and attention. It is penalty points and it is a fine. If that was some poor tourist there thinking there's something wrong with my car, I better stop, this man wants to talk to me. We'll be looking at ambulances now, if we're lucky. I'll leave you to it, sir. Take care.
He's got off lightly, but there's a final sting in the tail.
He's a registered driving instructor. You couldn't make that up.
The officers can take comfort that a potential disaster has been averted. In the world today, protecting a country's borders is vital.
It is seen as a gateway to the UK.
These are the men and women in uniform responsible for safeguarding Ireland's borders. Stopping.
Look at me, behind the yellow line.
Searching.
Have you been stopped at a checkpoint before?
We just listened to me.
And seizing. Drugs, arms and illegal goods.
If anyone tries to harm me, that dog will tear them to shreds.
Saving lives.
I'd say about 200 kilometres per hour.
And protecting Ireland's inhabitants and millions of visiting tourists.
You could have been here 100 times. It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get in the 101st time.
They police the ports.
But you have to make sure there's definitely nobody underneath the vehicle.
The airports.
Why did you tell me you weren't working?
And the roads.
These are very badly damaged trams.
If you can't drive the truck, shouldn't be on the road.
These are the Border Interceptors. Coming up, a routine stop and search.
What's the story?
Turns up an alarming find for the Garda Traffic Corps.
Some drugs paraphernalia here. The needles and tubes for making up their own syringes.
Corkport's four-legged secret weapon.
That dog will tear them to shreds.
And at Dublin Airport Immigration.
You with the group?
Yes. A student who may be on the next plane home.
We have a problem then, because that visa is used.
Corkport is the second busiest port in Ireland and welcomes car ferries, cruise ships and freight carriers, giving easy access to the whole of Ireland. The front line is protected by armed police. Their primary role is to stop people trying to smuggle themselves illegally across the border.
Great, thanks a million. Thanks. Mostly families come in here, but you still have to be very careful about the checks you carry out. Brilliant, thanks a million. It's mostly people that we're interested in. We work hand in hand with customs, and they're interested in contraband. Thanks very much. Bye.
But port security is not just of the two-legged variety. Officer Harrington is one of two Garda dog handlers for County Cork, assisted by two dogs, Laser and Rex.
Rex is trained to find and detect various different illegal drugs. A very common misconception is that the dogs are addicted to the drugs they're trained to find. They're not, because a lot of the drugs that he's trained to detect would, if you got him into his system or up his nose, would actually overwhelm his system and kill him. The other dog we have here today, his name is Laser. Lasers trained primarily for search and rescue of missing or vulnerable people. But if the person tries to hurt the dog, hurt me or escape, the dog is trained to bite them and detain them. He's there to defend me at all costs. So if anyone tries to harm me, that dog will tear them to shreds. When you have a big angry German Shepherd that's barking and telling people to cop on, 9 times out of 10 they tend to listen.
Rex and Officer Harrington are ever vigilant as they patrol the port, working as a team to detect smugglers trying to bring contraband into the country.
Just letting them have a walk by, just seeing if they pick up on anything and possibly in any of the cars. Like if there's cannabis or anything like that in the car, they'd have a very pungent smell, and you'd actually pick it up, the dogs can pick it up outside the vehicles. From time to time you'd get specific information that might suggest that a particular car might be on the ferry that might be of interest to us.
A ferry from France is about to dock at the port. And the Garda are about to act on a tip-off about a truck on board.
Okay guys, we have the ferry coming from Roscoff this morning, 480 vehicles on board. There's one truck that's of interest to us. We're going to be checking that truck, so usual anyway.
With around 180 vehicles rolling off the ferry, any one of these could be carrying illegal immigrants. The officers spot the target vehicle as it leaves the ferry, and they pull it over as it heads to leave the port. They now move in to perform a thorough search, before deciding if the truck will be allowed to enter the country.
Can I just have a quick look in the back there? You don't mind? Thanks very much. No, it's empty. We checked over at the far side. 3 times you were checked. Yeah.
The Garda are prepped and ready to act, should anyone be hiding amongst the empty containers.
We've had some problems the last few months in relation to that. I suppose it's just the current climate in Europe. A lot of desperate people over there trying to get a life. We're here to make sure that our borders are secure. We've had some clandestines come in on the back of trailers. Yeah, I'm satisfied this is secure and there's nobody on board.
They may have found nothing, but they're not finished yet. It's time to bring in the big guns.
Oh, come on, Rex, let's go. Come on, Rex. Where is it? Where is it?
Here.
Detective Garda Ray Flannery is on duty at the immigration booths in Dublin Airport.
How long are you going to stay in Ireland?
1 more day.
He's keeping an eye out for anything that may indicate a passenger is not being honest about their intentions in Ireland.
Where are you going to be based?
At All Hallows and then at Trinity College, Dublin.
Okay.
A group of American students have just landed from Heathrow in the UK.
You're part of the group, yeah?
Yep.
They're stopping off in Ireland for a few days on their way back to the US.
You with the group?
Yes.
Do you have a second visa?
No.
But it seems one of the students has a problem with his visa.
You have a problem then, because that visa is used.
They will not supposed to, like when they sign it.
The tutor arrives at Officer Flannery's desk in order to explain the situation.
We changed planes, we went from...
Yeah, but the visa he has is a single entry visa.
Yes, and they made the people on this side made a mistake in the Irish airport, but the person stamped it accidentally because she just took the whole lot of ours and just stamped them all.
He has to be convinced that they are telling the truth, or the student will be back on a plane and on his way out of the country.
It's deemed used once it's stamped.
Yeah, but we didn't know this, and we didn't, you know.
Yeah, so technically you should, because you came to here to go to the UK.
Yeah, but
yeah. So once you landed here, what airline did you go to the UK with?
When we went through the Irish consulate in Boston, we gave them the itinerary and said we were flying Aer Lingus from into Dublin to Heathrow, and this is what they.
Yeah, no, it should be in both.
Officer Flannery is happy that there has been a genuine mistake.
So how long more are you staying?
We're staying till Tuesday.
And allows the boy to enter Ireland to join his fellow students.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You had the correct visas, but just that the Irish visa was stamped in error. It didn't need to be stamped coming through here in transit.
The next passenger at Officer Flannery's desk has flown in from Brazil.
I have an Irish family, a wife and a daughter.
He and his family have previously lived in Ireland, but have been back in South America. His family have flown home ahead of him, and he's just arrived to join them.
We are living in Brazil, and during that period there, my GNIB expired.
His GNIB card has expired. This gives him immigration permission to stay in the country beyond 90 days. He will have to register again for a new card.
Are you living in Dublin?
Yeah.
You're down the country, you go to the local, but...
Everything seems to be in order, until Officer Flannery asks the man his address in Ireland.
What address are you living at?
When I left, what we're going to live now?
When you left, you were living in...
When I left, was in...
The address they have on record is from 2009.
Okay, when did you live in Triton?
This is when we married in 2009.
Officer Flannery isn't concerned about the man's intentions, but explains that he needs to keep his contact details up to date at all times.
Anytime you move address, you have to notify immigration that you have moved address.
Right, yeah.
Okay? It's very important you do so. And we hold on to this card because it's expired.
With Officer Flannery holding on to the expired GNIB card, the man will need to register for a new one. This time, making sure all his details are correct and up to date.
Thank you.
Okay.
Back at Cork Port, the Garda Border Patrol are on high alert.
Can I just have a quick look in the back there? You don't mind it? Thanks very much.
They've had a tip-off that a truck arriving from France may be carrying something or someone it shouldn't have been.
There's nobody on board?
So far, they've discovered nothing. Time to bring out their secret weapon, Rex.
Come on, Rex, let's go. Come on, Rex. Where is it? Oh, you're going to work.
Where's that? Rex.
Every time these dogs go to work, they think they're playing a game. So if the dog isn't happy to be searching for his toy, he won't do it. So you have to keep the dogs happy at all times.
The dog goes to work, checking potential hiding places for smuggled drugs.
So now he's in work mode and he will just fly through this truck searching it. And if he comes across anything, he would stop beside it and start barking and scratching at it using his paws.
With a sense of smell 2,000 times stronger and 50 times more sensitive than that of a human's, Rex is a potent weapon in security operations.
Good boy, Rex.
To him, it's a game. But if he finds anything, the drivers won't be smiling.
He's very, very good at what he does, and he can make our search team's jobs an awful lot easier. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy.
Rex's expert nose finds nothing. Given the all clear, the truck is waved through into the country. On this occasion, the tip-off hasn't led to a bust, but the squad will remain vigilant, ready for the next illegal attempt to enter the country. The Garda Traffic Corps patrols the roads around Dublin Port and Dublin Airport. It's their job to keep these busy entry points to the Republic of Ireland safe. Officers Paddy McElroy and Philip Earle are in their patrol car. And they've spotted something that rings alarm bells. They turn the vehicle around and head off in pursuit of the Nissan Micra.
Just took the turn a bit quick for my liking.
As the driver overtakes other road users erratically,
Hasn't copped us yet. He wouldn't drive like that if he knew we were behind him.
the officers radio in for a vehicle check.
Control, just looking for a vehicle registration check when you stand. It's a dark coloured Micra and your insurance.
Insurance brother, it's March of this year, tax May of this year, paid out to March of this year. Oh, it's good turn up these. I checked a couple of times earlier on this year.
Roger that, sir.
It's time to pull this driver over. Officer McElroy approaches the car to investigate.
Oh, you keep an eye on them, fella, will you? You're coming up with loads of stuff missing on your car.
Missing?
Yeah, documentation.
No, I just bought this car 2 years ago. Insurance in the post and I have insurance.
NCT's gone. Tax is gone. No insurance displayed.
Your insurance is not paid for insurance every
Can you
month.
turn off your engine there for a second?
It's off.
Is it off?
Yeah.
Do you have a driver license on you?
No, no,
You have no identification?
No.
Well, who'd you buy this car off?
I bought a fella in the auction in the boot yesterday.
Yesterday?
Day before yesterday.
You're tripping yourself up now?
No, day before yesterday, honest to God, yeah.
Got no tax, no insurance and no NCP. It's got a male driver, female front seat passenger. The female has all the usual physical signs of a drug user. He's saying that he's just bought the car, so he doesn't appear to have any documentation to back it up. Again, I think this one will end up being seized.
Officer McElroy suspects the man is telling him a pack of lies.
Control, could I get a person?
He's got no ID and no proof that the car is legally allowed on the road. So the officers have no choice but to seize his vehicle.
Could we get a tow truck up to this location, please? Your car's going to be seized. Under Section 41 of the Road Traffic Act.
Please.
For suspicion of no insurance, you see, you told me that you bought it yesterday.
Yeah, my license at home, I got my
How
license.
did you get insurance?
I'm going to show you, I paid every month.
Where did you get insurance?
Downtown.
You only said you bought it yesterday.
No, the day before yesterday I bought it. I put my insurance in, I paid every monthly. It's £200.
I'm not satisfied.
Please, God, don't just
I'm not satisfied.
Please.
When I say that you've no license.
Yeah, but I have my insurance and license.
Our checks have
yeah, but I'm
produced.
I'm from the north, I'm in New Pay. I got past my test and my license. Honest to God.
James, it's been seized. I've made a decision. Okay?
If he's going to stand any chance of changing their minds, he's going to have to think fast. With up to 740 flights landing every day, from 180 potential destinations in 42 countries, over 4 continents. The task of keeping Ireland's borders safe at Dublin Airport is no mean feat.
Hi, how are you?
30th of May.
At the immigration desks, Officer O'Connell is on duty, helping to protect those borders from potential threats.
How are you doing?
A gentleman has just flown in from Hong Kong and has arrived at his desk.
Who do you visit?
My brother and sister.
Your brother and sister, do they work here?
Yes.
They work here. And do you have their immigration details? No. Do you have a letter?
No.
No, okay. I'll try and find them on my system.
Officer O'Connell can't find any record of the relatives on the system. If the man can't prove where he is staying and who with, then he could be denied entry into the country.
They're not on my system.
Hmm? No,
they're not here. No.
No, asking my sister.
Yeah.
It turns out that the man is travelling with another of his sisters. She joins him at Officer O'Connell's immigration desk so he can question her about their reasons for coming to Ireland.
My sister and my brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
No mobile number.
What?
No mobile phone.
Mobile. Yeah.
0872. This is your sister.
Yeah. Sylvia.
Okay.
The woman gives him a phone number. But there's no answer.
Voicemail.
He needs to confirm their story to ensure that they aren't trying to enter the country illegally for work. For now, they are going nowhere.
Do you know your sister's date of birth?
Yeah.
Date of birth. Your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah?
My sister?
Yes, please.
Me.
Her date of birth?
Yeah.
And on top of that, the language barrier is starting to become a problem.
Date of birth?
Date of birth?
Yes.
Oh.
Is this 1948?
Yeah.
1948, September.
Maybe.
Okay. And born in, or nationality Hong Kong?
Yeah, I'm from Hong Kong.
Okay. No records.
He tries to get through again.
Hello, Sylvia?
And this time the call connects.
Immigration, Dublin Airport. You're expecting a visitor? Who is it? Okay, so I just need to get your GNIB number. Okay, and did you register with immigration? You did. Okay. The 8th of October 1956. Ah, yes, I have you here now.
The woman on the phone has registered with the Garda National Immigration Bureau and is able to give Officer O'Connell her details.
Yeah, that's fine.
he finds her on the system,
Very good. So you're the
is satisfied that the couple are genuine, and is happy to give them leave to land.
So when you are visiting next time, just get a letter from your sister with all her details on it, okay? Because then we won't be delaying the other people, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. If they hadn't any contact details, it's grounds to refuse, to be honest with you, because they're telling you they're coming to visit people, and if I can't find them on the system, it means they're probably not here legally. So if I hadn't been able to find them, it would have been grounds for refusal.
Garda Traffic Corps officers Paddy McElroy and Philip Earle have pulled over a car for driving erratically.
Coming up with loads of stuff missing on your car.
They suspect the driver is being far from honest with them.
I'm not satisfied.
Please, God, don't just
I'm not satisfied.
Please.
He's got no tax, no insurance, and no national car test certificate. And on top of all that, he can't produce a driving licence.
It's been seized, I've made a decision. Okay?
They've seized the car. But before the tow truck arrives, it's time for a routine search.
Yeah, we're going to give it a quick search. You have nothing in the car that you shouldn't have.
No, don't use needles.
Do you take any drugs at all?
Drink.
Drink?
Yeah. Food.
And the plot thickens.
What's that? Who was on the cocaine?
No, but I don't take coke, I don't drink.
Some drugs paraphernalia here. We have the pipes that they use for smoking. This seems to be, it's not something you'd see much of these days, where they appear to be making up their own needles by using pins and so on. No need for that in the modern day with the government needle exchange programs and so on. It's unusual to see it, it's very old-fashioned. You'd see the likes of the needles and tubes, you know, for making up their own syringes. It's almost like you'd see in prison rather than on the streets, to be honest. The likes of this tin foil that you use for smoking. Then we've got this container here. The telltale sign here is the green liquid in the bottom. That's methadone, which is a substitute for heroin. People who are coming off heroin will be prescribed this through clinics and doctors and so on. The bag here is crushed tablets of some sort. We're going to guess from the colour and from experience, they tend to be sleeping tablets. Again, more medication. These are all in the name of another lady who's not in the car, who's related to this lady. She tells us she doesn't take drugs, but a check on our system tells us the opposite. They seem to be harmless enough, two characters living homeless, basically living out of the car. Fortunately, the car isn't tax insured or NCT'd, so there's no way we can let them drive around like that.
Although they found drugs paraphernalia, there's no drugs, so the officers can only seize their car. They let them get their things together, and it looks like they have their entire lives in a handful of carrier bags. The car's heading to the pound, and the couple are heading off under their own steam. In the world today, protecting a country's borders is vital.
It is seen as a gateway to the UK.
These are the men and women in uniform responsible for safeguarding Ireland's borders. Stopping.
Look at me, behind the yellow line.
Searching.
Have you been stopped at a checkpoint before?
We just listened to me.
And seizing drugs, arms and illegal goods.
If anyone tries to harm me, that dog will tear them to shreds.
Saving lives.
I'd say about 200 kilometres per hour.
And protecting Ireland's inhabitants and millions of visiting tourists.
You could have been here 100 times. It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get in the 101st time.
fire exit.
They police the ports,
But you have to make sure there's definitely nobody underneath the vehicle.
the airports,
Why did you tell me you weren't working?
and the roads.
These are very badly damaged straps.
If you can't drive the truck, shouldn't be on the road.
These are the border interceptors. Coming up, a roadside stop reveals an unexpected haul of goods.
Did you have receipts for all this stuff that you just purchased? Do you know what's even in your car?
Without any paperwork to confirm his story, it's looking like a long one-way trip for this Indian family.
You're supposed to have that to present to me also. That way I know you're actually married to this person.
And a high-speed chase for a wanted vehicle. At Dublin Airport, Immigration Officer Ray Flannery is on the non-EU desk. His job is to check every passenger that arrives from outside the European Union has the correct paperwork to enter the country. An Indian man has approached the desk with his young daughter. The man has a visa to enter Ireland, but Officer Flannery is doing a final check before letting the man and his daughter into the country.
You're coming here first time to join your spouse. Do you have her details? Her details?
Her details?
Yes?
She's working as a...
I need her details. I have no idea who she is. You have to provide details to me.
I don't have anything now.
Well, how do I know you're coming to them? You should have her GNIB number, address.
Without any paperwork, Officer Flannery can't confirm the man's story. The man desperately searches his phone for information, but at the moment it's not looking good for him and his daughter.
You should have a letter of invitation. That way I will know who you're coming to.
The man hands over his phone with what he says is a photo of his wife's immigration permit.
You're supposed to have all this printed. I have no idea who you're coming to. It's common sense.
But his lack of any physical paperwork is a problem.
Like I have no... Do you have a marriage cert? Marriage cert? Where?
Marriage certificate I have in my...
You're supposed to have that to present to me also. That way I know you're actually married to this person.
I was not aware of that they would have carried my all the documents inside my ID. I have all the documents in my marriage certificate, birth certificate.
You should have them with me, because if I refuse you permission to come in, they're no good to you. You need to have all that now.
It's not looking good for the man. If he can't convince Officer Flannery his story checks out, he may not be let into the country.
Like that photograph could be of anybody. I have no proof. What's her name?
My name is Prince Ali.
No, what's her name?
Simple Elizabeth Jones.
Any idea where she lives, her address?
She lives in Roadside.
Right. Where is she working?
She's working for Mountain Residential.
Officer Flannery continues to quiz him.
Is that her?
Yes.
Happy his story checks out, he finally allows the man and his daughter entry, but on condition he produces the required paperwork.
Well, you must go to the local police in Mooncoin or Kilkenny, wherever your wife registered. With her, bring all your documents, marriage, everything, okay, within 3 months.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Generally, people will have documentation, but unfortunately, a lot of the time, this documentation is presented to a relevant embassy in order to get a visa. And if we get to get a second copy to show us here, they presume once they have the visa, then everything's okay, they can just come in. But we will do a double check just to make sure they are who they say they are and coming to join who they say they're coming to join.
Today, patrolling the roads around Dublin, including major access routes to the airport and the port, are Garda traffic officers Paddy McElroy and Mark Fay. In their unmarked car, they're keeping a low profile but expert eye out for any suspicious activity. And it's not long before they pulled over a vehicle that's pinged up on their ANPR system.
It's suspected that it's involved in crime, yeah.
So you're in shopping.
Officer McElroy's suspicions are immediately aroused by the car's very full boot.
Would you have receipts for all this stuff that you just purchased?
What? No, we didn't just purchase now, it's in the car, wait.
Like all this stuff here, when was all this stuff bought?
It's in the car, I couldn't tell you. We're 3 years homeless, so we're going around everywhere.
But all that stuff looks relatively new, if you don't mind me asking.
No, because we're getting a house probably this week or next week.
The woman's vague and evasive answers aren't helping her case.
Basically, at this moment of time, the woman can't account for some of the stuff that she has in the boot in terms of providing documentary evidence of purchase. If it's the case whereby the items are stolen, she could be prosecuted for theft if found to be that, or if it was the case whereby she is handling stolen property as equally as, if not more, of an offence.
Over €500 million worth of stock is stolen every year from retailers in Ireland, some of it immediately heading out of the country.
Where are those clothes from?
Gun stores.
Gun stores. Right, I'm going to take that bag out for a second. I want to have a look at that for a second. You're saying your mother purchased this book, right?
It turns out officers Fay and McElroy have every reason to suspect this woman. She's already known to the Garda as actively being involved with stolen goods, and the contents of her boot look highly suspicious.
When did you buy that?
He bought that.
Come on, Kathleen. You'd
You
know.
didn't hold it, you put it in your car if you like so.
I don't want to put it in my car. If you purchase this, I don't want to take it. Why would I want to take it if you purchased it?
It turns out this car is full of new household items.
The Hoover. When did you buy that? The Ashbourne Market. How much you pay for it? The George Foreman in the back. You're not backing up these purchases with receipts to say you own it. There's all new stuff in it. What's in behind this seat? What's in underneath there? Do you know what's even in your car? You've got loads of new items in your car. You've no bags in them, you've no receipts in them. You can't tell me exactly where you bought them.
Unhappy with the woman's inability to provide proof of purchase, Officer McElroy finally decides he has no other course of action.
Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Hoover, the George Foreman,
the drone.
I'm going to leave all the smaller bits. I
Take the kettle.
can take the shoes out of River Island, and you're going to prove to me that you purchased them. Can you do that for me? And if you prove that you purchased all them, I'll give them back to you straight away.
If the woman can't prove she purchased the items seized, she's looking at a date in court and possible jail time as a repeat offender. Particularly if Officer McElroy turns up evidence the items are stolen.
All right?
For now, the woman is allowed on her way, but with a significantly lighter car.
There's all barcodes on them, there's all tags on them. So we'll approach the relevant stores and ask them, see can they give us any information and shed any light on this investigation.
Back at Dublin Airport, Detective Garda Ray Flannery is processing passengers at the non-EU desk.
How are you? Hi, girl.
Thank you.
He needs to see a passport and potentially a visa and paperwork before he lets any passenger into the country.
The maximum we allow any non-EU national to stay here is 90 days. If they have a reason to extend past that, and a valid reason, they will then go to the local immigration officer and look for permission to extend past 90 days. Now, why are you here?
I live here.
Are you living here?
Yeah.
Do you have a GNIB card?
Yeah.
The GNIB card, which was recently replaced by the Irish resident permit, allows non-EU citizens to stay and work in Ireland beyond 90 days.
What do you do here? Are you working here?
Yeah, I'm working.
Where?
DPD. Delivery.
Lovely. Thank you.
The next passenger at Officer Flannery's booth is also looking to stay in Ireland beyond 90 days.
Now, how long will you stay here?
That's 3 years. 3 years now.
You're living here?
Yeah.
GNIB card.
The woman struggles to find her immigration card to prove she should be allowed back into the country. And when she does, there's an issue.
It's expired.
Yeah, it was expired when I was still there.
have to change it, and again I have to change my surname because I'm married here.
You got married when?
2 weeks ago. But my husband flew back.
He flew back?
Yeah, he flew back.
Why? Is he not living here? Is he not living here?
He is. He is actually that side. He's waiting for us.
Oh, he flew back here?
Yeah, he flew back here. Because I had some things to sort out before I leave.
Her conditions had expired. She had left here before re-registering, but while she was away back in her home country, she had remarried. And who's Moses?
Moses is my ex-husband.
Ex-husband?
Yeah.
So she's now coming in to re-register. She's a child here as well with her. So she was given 90 days to go back and re-register. People re-register every single year, so we know exactly what people are doing. The system has to be updated constantly.
Happy her story checks out, Officer Flannery allows the woman entry.
Now, you must go and re-register within 3 months. You need to bring your new marriage cert and all your details again back to the office in City Centre.
Okay.
Where you're, yeah, Berkeley, yeah. We hold on to this card because it's expired, okay?
You're holding it?
Yeah, once it's expired, we hold on to it.
Okay. So what if maybe I'm going to need it?
You won't, it's expired, so it's no good.
Okay.
So you can tell them in Berkeley that it's been retained here,
Okay.
if they ask.
It will cost the woman €300 to re-register, but she'll then be allowed to stay in Ireland for another 12 months. Back on patrol around Dublin Airport with officers McElroy and Fay. They don't get far before they're called into action.
It's a warning for suspicious vehicle.
Hitting the blues and twos, the officers race to the nearby location of the suspicious vehicle. It's not long before they spot the car and pull it over. Officer Fay now needs to find out if everything is above board with this vehicle and its driver.
I'm just having a gander at the car. Just having a look to see. And it's your brother's vehicle, is it? Do you have the insurance cert with you, or just the documentation this man?
No, but I just produced it last
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
All right, if you produce it, well then I won't make another producer off you, like, you know what I mean? In fairness. Well, obviously it would be.
Yeah.
This is your current address, is it?
Yeah.
So, all right, nice.
Although the man doesn't have the car's insurance certificate on him, he claims to have recently shown police the original copy.
Right, control, we just see if there's any recent DLIPs there, please.
Having confirmed the man is telling the truth, Officer Fay returns to the car.
Yeah, you produced there on the 4th of July, you did. And nice, yeah. You don't have anything in the car, you shouldn't have in the car, do you?
No,
Yeah. I'm asking if you mind me searching?
No, I've been at home. My father's in fucking hospital.
Your father's in hospital. Yeah. Look, I do appreciate what's called the fact.
It may be suspicious, but because the driver's documents are all in order and he's given no indication of committing a crime, he's entitled to refuse Officer Fay's request.
If you're in difficulty wherever else, that's fair enough. I says I fully appreciate it. I says I'll mark it down on the system that that it's flagging up for whatever reason, all right?
The officers allow the vehicle to go, but next time this driver might not be so lucky. In Granard, County Longford, road safety investigator Jim Fleming, working with the police, has set up a checkpoint on a main road running to the border with Northern Ireland. With Ireland exporting around €340 million worth of forestry products every year, cross-border wood trucking is big business.
How are you getting on?
Today, Jim and his team are doing spot checks to make sure these trucks and their drivers are following safety and security regulations.
Do you mind having a look at your tacho, please?
The tachograph will tell Jim details of how fast, how far, and how long the vehicle has been driven. While the data downloads, he takes a look at the driver's card, which keeps a record of the specific driver's data. A commercial driver is allowed to do a maximum of 90 hours in any 2-week period. and a maximum of 10 hours in any one day. Drivers face a fine of €5,000 for breaking the rules. The data on the card makes for shocking viewing for Jim.
The driver card in this case is showing that back at the beginning of May, he was working for a period of 102 hours. Well, obviously, you can't be working for 4 days. If you were to be working for 102 hours and 7 minutes without a break, that would be quite serious. But in this case, it's just the card is in the machine and the machine thinks he's working.
It's clearly not correct.
You were off there last week, right? Or from the first. Your taco was at other work for 4 days. When you ejected the card, then it closes off your mileage reading, your odometer readings then for that day. Probably the best practice is to eject it and put it back in again, you know.
Having advised the trucker about his driver's card, Jim checks the taco data. It's also flagged an infringement.
The maximum daily driving time is 10 hours. On a day here where you can drove for 10 hours and 2 minutes. The regulations are the regulations, so if somebody's driving for 10 hours and 2, it'll flag it up as a minor infringement.
Jim considers the nature of the offence and, given how minor it is, uses his discretion.
Thank you.
On this occasion, there's a verbal reprimand before the driver is allowed to be on his way. There are approximately 350,000 goods vehicles on the road in Ireland, travelling between borders and from coastal ports to airports.
Yeah, that's fine.
Road Safety Authority Vehicle Inspector Tommy Wright is conducting roadside checks on HGVs, using the roads leading north to the border. The Road Safety Authority have developed a simple vehicle walk-around checklist to assist drivers in carrying out inspections of their own vehicles. After being pulled over for an on-the-spot inspection, this trucker is about to get the full RSA treatment.
Have you been stopped at a checkpoint before?
Not lately.
Okay, we'll do lights, front and back, tractor unit and trailer, and I'll have a walk round.
The check is now a legal requirement before taking the vehicle on the road. And it's going to be very easy for the inspector to see if it's been completed or not.
Okay, give the steering wheel a good shake for me, yeah? Press down the foot brake. The other way.
Approximately 10% of all collisions are caused by vehicle defects. So it's important for the safety of everyone using Ireland's roads that the vehicles are maintained properly and that the drivers themselves know what issues to look out for.
That's the steering column coming down that the driver has the steering wheel, and if you look down there, it's the steering box, and it's power assisted, like, so it's filled with fluid. A lot of the time the top seal gives problems and it leaks. See the oil? Do you know your steering box is leaking fairly bad? You have to toppen it up. Do you know it's leaking? Have you reported it?
Yes, I have reported that.
Well, have you it written down then?
He also needs to check the cab, from collecting tachograph data to sounding the horn.
Horn? Is the horn working, Tommy, is it? When was it working?
It was working yesterday.
You checked it today, like?
I didn't check it today, no.
Are you wearing that seatbelt?
Yes, sir. I had that on.
It's not pushing back in that well, like. Why have you it like that then?
I just had I like some loose.
But sure, it's no good, like. If you're involved in an accident, like, that's no good to you, like.
The check is not going well for this driver, and it gets worse.
You have a brake pad indicator light on there, like.
Yeah.
How long is it like that?
That's only just like that. The brakes are good on it. But
that's why you need to have the book. When you see something like with the horn not working or something wrong with the seatbelt or you have a fault like that, you need to record it and you need to report it to your boss and see what's happening then. All right, I'll keep looking around.
Safety Inspector Wright now takes a look at the truck's tyres, an area where defects have been found to be a major factor in accidents.
I'm looking at the tyre, it's on the limits, like. But it's up at the minute, like, so I'll check to see it's probably empty, like, and see where he's going in that thing.
Having completed all 22 individual checks, Inspector Wright shares the results with the police officer on duty with him, Garda Liam Lawler.
Yeah.
Seatbelt not working.
Yeah. Brake pad indicator.
They have the power to pull the vehicle off the road and impound it, should it not reach the necessary level of roadworthiness.
You know the way you'd have the circle of the dashed wheel?
Have any indication of which brake?
No, there's nothing on that, like. And the lift axle.
Safety Inspector Wright and Garda Lawler go through the list of faults as they decide how they need to proceed.
The other side, he's amber on both then for tacho and for roadworthiness.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, so you need to get that seatbelt sorted so that it's retracting properly. It's important that you sort out what the issue is in relation to the brake pad indicator. Get that sorted before you bring it on the road again. She's emptied the trailer, I presume, yeah? So you need to get that tyre sorted as well before you put a load on it. So you're given the chance to go and get stuff done rather than having someone to come out and do the stuff here for you. So that's fair enough, isn't it?
That's fair enough.
Okay, good man.
This driver's been lucky. He's able to continue with his journey. He's going on his way with a warning and a list of jobs to complete. And he has 10 days to do it.
Is that okay? Good man. Thanks, Tom.
In the world today, protecting a country's borders is vital.
It is seen as a gateway to the UK.
These are the men and women in uniform responsible for safeguarding Ireland's borders. Stopping.
Look at me, behind the yellow line.
Searching.
Have you been stopped at a checkpoint before?
We just listened to me.
And seizing. Drugs, arms and illegal goods.
If anyone tries to harm me, that dog will tear them to shreds.
Saving lives.
I'd say about 200 kilometres per hour.
And protecting Ireland's inhabitants and millions of visiting tourists.
You could have been here 100 times. It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get in the 101st time.
They police the ports.
But you have to make sure that definitely nobody underneath the vehicle.
The airports.
Why did you tell me you weren't working?
And the roads.
These are very badly damaged straps.
If you can't drive the truck, shouldn't be on the road.
These are the Border Interceptors. Coming up, Dublin Airport's strict immigration rules shock a traveller from down under.
How long are you staying?
3 days. Keeping the borders safe, it's a race through the streets of Dublin to find a wanted car. And a young passenger flying solo.
Is this person collecting you?
Gives passport control the runaround. Passport and immigration officers oversee all incoming passengers arriving at Dublin Airport. Their role is to identify those intent on illegally crossing the border into the country and make sure all passengers meet the strict entry requirements. At the non-EU passport desk, Detective Garda Ray Flannery is getting ready to check in new arrivals. Passing through immigration checks can be a relatively straightforward process, if you have nothing to hide.
Thank you. How long will you stay? What do you do here? What date do you leave? Where is that? But initially, how long will you be here? How much money do you have with you for your stay here? What will you be doing with them?
I'm not sure yet.
Partying and more like it. All right. Thank you. How are you? How are you?
Good. Well, tired.
I know the feeling.
This next passenger has arrived from Australia, unprepared. He steps up to Ray Flannery's desk.
How long are you staying?
3 months.
Why?
Just for holiday.
And where are you going to be for 3 months?
With some family friends. They used to live in Aussie.
Where in Galway?
Sorry?
Where in Galway are you going to?
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I'm not.
And how much money do you have with you for your stay here?
Yeah, about 7,000 Australian.
Sure. Do you have a return ticket? See it, please. The maximum we allow any non-EU national to stay here is 90 days. In the UK, they give 6 months. The max we give anybody here is 90 days.
Nothing gets past Officer Flannery.
It's over 90 days, is it? It's over 90 days.
I'm not 100. Yeah, it was. I leave on the 17th of September.
Which is over 90 days.
Okay.
The max I can give you is 90 days.
Well, I was planning on if I didn't have enough money, if I run out of money, or
You leave early anyway.
Yeah. I was
Okay.
gonna plan on doing that, yeah. And just pay to get my tickets changed.
Okay. Yeah, because the max you can get is 90 days. So.
Okay, that's no worries. Sorry, I didn't realise.
If they have a reason to extend past that, and a valid reason, they will then go to the local immigration officer and look for permission to extend past 90 days. Okay, thank you.
It's been a close call, but it's cost him. He'll need to change his return flights and leave earlier than planned. Dublin Port is the perfect entry point for criminals bringing contraband in and out of the country. Patrolling the roads around the port are Garda Traffic Corps officers Paddy McElroy and Phil Earl. Many of the Garda's vehicles are fitted with ANPR, automatic number plate recognition. Using onboard cameras, this system is designed to detect, deter and disrupt criminal activity on the roads.
NPR has produced a warning. This vehicle has been suspiciously seen to be dealing drugs it was reported by members of the public. Unaware of whether this vehicle has been stopped by guards recently, but we're just going to check him out and see what the story is.
The officers turn the car around and head to intercept. Very quickly, they locate the suspect's car, parked up outside some shops. The officers retreat to a safe distance and play the waiting game. In 2015, over 15,000 drug-related offences were recorded in Ireland. 14% of young adults under 34 admitted to having used cannabis, whilst nearly 5% admitted to MDMA, and 3% to having tried cocaine. The Irish heroin market alone is reported to be worth in the region of €600 million.
He's on the move.
The driver's on the move, and the Garda Traffic Corps are in pursuit, waiting for just the right moment to corner him.
Just I'm not familiar with these roads in case he does make a break for it. He's going into the garage there now. Come on, show me your hands. Show me your hands. Keep them up. Turn off the engine, please. Thank you. How are you, sir?
Grand.
Patrick's my name. Guard here attached to traffic, Dublin Castle.
Yeah.
Right, can you step out of the car for a second? Okay, how are you? Is this your vehicle?
Yeah, this is my vehicle.
Do you mind if we have a search?
Yeah, we can go ahead.
No problem. You agree to a search?
Yeah, 100%.
No problem. Do you want to empty everything out onto the bonnet that you have in your pockets?
You can do it.
No. Empty everything in whatever you have in your pockets.
I have nothing in my pocket. You actually scare me when you pull up like this.
But there's no need to be scared. We're going to do a brief search of the car.
Yeah.
Put your arms out.
On this occasion, their meticulous search of the driver and his car turns up nothing.
Happy enough? Listen, you're free to go. Thanks for your cooperation.
Yeah.
Very nice gentleman to deal with. Nothing untoward found in the vehicle, so we let him on his way.
The driver is free to go. But with his registration logged in connection with possible criminal activity, it may not be long before he is feeling the long arm of the law again. Also patrolling the streets around Dublin are Garda Traffic Corps officers Mark Fay and Damien McMahon. The Garda Traffic Corps have a fleet of over 2,500 vehicles and use a combination of highly visible cars to act as a deterrent on the roads, and unmarked vehicles for surveillance and covert operations.
03 Delta 78459.
The officer's ANPR system has just got a hit on a car with no tax and no national certificate to prove its roadworthiness. Time to pull this driver over.
How are you? Do you have a driving licence on you there by any chance, do you? You've nothing on you at the moment. Do you have any form of identification just to show who you are? Nothing at all, no?
Officer Faye is able to check her details against those showing on the ANPR, and it doesn't match. She claims she has just bought the car.
Did you buy the car privately or did you buy it off the garage? Privately. Do you know what the story is with relation to the vehicle registration certificate? Have you got anything back? No? Have you inquired to see? Your friends send off the logbook for you? Okay.
With the facts not adding up, Officer Faye checks the car's insurance disc, and there's a problem there too. Cars in Ireland must by law be insured and display an insurance disc in their windscreen. It's estimated 150,000 road users in Ireland are driving without insurance.
Whose insurance is displayed at the front there, Jacqueline? Whose insurance is that in the front then? Who are you insured with? AXA. Would you know your policy number? Or? No.
The driver claims that the car's insured, but as the policy is not in her name, Officer Faye needs to make a call to get to the bottom of the situation.
How are you doing, AXA? This is Garda Mark Faye here from Traffic Dublin Castle. I'm just wondering, can I do a Garda check, please? The lady says that she's covered with AXA. I just want to see whether or not you have any indication there for us.
Policy cancelled due to non-payment.
Non-payment. All right. All right, Jacqueline, a bit of bad news for you. The policy was cancelled as of the 26th of April. You have no insurance.
She's not been paying for her policy and her insurance has been cancelled.
At this moment in time, you have no insurance. As it stands at the moment, I can't let you drive on, you know what I mean?
With no insurance, the Garda have to keep her off the road and so seize her car.
I'm not victimising you. I'm not. Well, I actually have no discretion when it comes to insurance. No, the situation is I'm detaining the vehicle under the provisions of Section 41 of the Road Travel Act of 1961 as amended. All right, Jacqueline? We just listened to me. I just want to give you a form as well.
I'm being victimised.
I want to give you a form then, Jacqueline, explains how to get the vehicle back.
But there's nothing she can do. Her car isn't going anywhere soon. When it does move, it'll be on the back of a trailer heading for the city
pound.
pound.
Take your private keys, and I'm just going to get you a form to explain how to get the vehicle back.
Protecting the borders from those intent on breaking the law isn't the Garda's only role. They also need to make sure all 30 million passengers that pass through Dublin Airport each year can do so safely. At the non-EU passenger desk, Officer Frank Flynn is checking passports.
Hello, how are you? Passport?
A young girl arrives on the next flight from Paris. As she's clearly on the wrong lane, he's alerted to the fact that she's travelling alone.
Have you got a boarding card? She came to the non-European line, but that was a mistake on her part. Maybe she didn't know. She probably didn't realise. Just followed the crowd. You got to learn English?
Industry experts believe more and more children are flying solo, with numbers now into the hundreds of thousands each year and still climbing.
And where are you going to learn English?
This also puts a strain on ground teams too, with greater responsibility for the safety of the youngsters travelling through the airport.
Is this person collecting you?
With a girl appearing to be under 16 and in need of help, Frank needs to make sure she's in safe hands when she leaves the airport.
Hello? This is immigration in Dublin Airport.
It's a nice location.
Are you in the airport? Who are you expecting?
He speaks to her language school contact, who gives him some alarming news.
Not with you, no? I rang the person and he said she wasn't on his list of person.
Thank you.
No, I'll have to ring you out.
Concerned for the girl's safety and with a duty of care, Frank leaves his booth. He needs to find the school contact that he was speaking to.
Hello, Noel? Are you in terminal 2? Sometimes people come here unaccompanied. If something happens, then we have a duty of care, you know? That's why I have to check the person out. How you know?
Hello there.
How are you? I just saw your name and your phone number on it here.
No problem, yep. And you often come out.
But the contact appears to be just as confused with the situation.
She's not on my list.
She's not on your list.
I'm going to check. I think she's...
If it can't be sorted, there's a very real chance that she may be flying home.
Now, moi je suis de l'agence de New Change, d'accord? Is there any name of the family there? I'll just get her now, the family now.
Okay. He's going to find her now.
I'm sitting waiting on her over there.
Okay,
I am
right,
indeed.
okay.
With the host family found, Frank checks their credentials.
Lovely.
You look
That's
after
great.
her.
I will
Sounds
indeed.
good.
Thanks
Okay,
very much.
It's been a worrying start to this youngster's holiday, but thanks to Frank's tenacity, all has been resolved.
Met the lady, and everything was okay. So it's fairly prevalent in the summer holidays. People coming to learn English here. Juveniles, unaccompanied as well, you know. So we have a duty of care, so we have to make sure that they don't get lost.
Outside Dublin, this car's number plate was flagged as a vehicle of interest.
Cancelled due to non-payment.
Non-payment, all right. The policy was cancelled as of the 26th of April. At this moment in time, you have no insurance. I'm not victimising you.
The owner eventually admitted to driving without insurance, and her car was seized. Back with officers Fay and McMahon, the woman with no insurance has had enough.
Am I expecting her home? I've no purse at me. Nothing.
She's heading home on foot.
She's going walking on the motorway, so...
They need to stop her before she puts herself in front of fast-moving traffic.
Have a chat with her there. See if you can see some bit of sense.
Jacqueline, you can't go walking on a motorway. You can't walk on a motorway. Is there anybody you can contact?
No.
Anybody at all?
No.
You can't, Jacqueline, you can't actually walk down on the... Jacqueline, you can't walk down onto the Navan Road. Jacqueline, I have to stop you.
You bring it down as far as the lodge there.
Lodge.
The officers have a duty of care to keep her out of danger. They have to get her off the road. But they're not taking her home, only to the next junction where she'll be dropped off.
That's as far as we can bring you. We can't bring you to your house.
I'm not asking you to help. I'm asking you to drop me at People's Road. The River Road, I only know how to
But we're not a taxi service either, Jacqueline.
I know, but you should be here.
Yeah, why was it taken off you? Just getting you off the motorway, Jacqueline, that's all we're doing.
Still a long walk, but no, please, I beg you.
There's no begging.
Just roundabout, right?
No.
Please, I beg you, please.
That's it, we're here.
Please, I can't walk. I'm just terrified walking down here, Finglas.
Look it, we're here. This is as far as we're going, Jacqueline.
Despite her pleas, the officers leave the woman to her own devices. They then head back to her car to oversee its removal to the pound. In 2017, nearly half of Ireland's fatal road traffic accidents involved heavy goods vehicles. So making sure HGVs are roadworthy is a vital job, and roadside checks are the perfect opportunity.
All right, Shane, turn it over the other way.
It's the job of the Road Safety Authority working with the police to enforce the rules that keep vehicles safe on Irish roads.
Don't have the actual category licence to pull a trailer at all, according to this.
Today's joint operation between the RSA and the Garda is situated near Carlow, on the busy road leading from Waterford Port. Together they have the authority to pull trucks off the road if they're deemed unsafe.
If anything were to happen, it wouldn't be good for anybody.
Officer Liam Lawler has pulled over a vehicle he wants to inspect further.
Do you see the way it's tied on?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
That particular strap is very, very weak. It has been cut into the centre loose as well. You shouldn't be able to move a strap like that. There's no protection on the edge. There's no protection as it goes around a bolt here. And it continues where it shouldn't. These are very badly damaged straps. As it travels to a point down here where it's secured onto the corner of a twist lock handle. And if you look at it here, I can actually move it off. It's that loose. And that's what's holding on that load. A strap that's as loose that you can, it's literally going to fall off down onto the roadway, and God knows what happens then. That's as bad as you get. It is definitely as bad as you get.
With the terrible state of the straps, the truck is a ticking time bomb. If one of these huge bags were to break loose and fall into the road, the consequences could prove fatal.
There's at least a ton in each pallet there, literally sitting on a flatbed trailer with the grace of God holding them on. Here, just while you're... Okay, why is there not one strap going from there to the other side and that's it? Why does it go on?
When you wind up the strap the far side, it's sticking away out and there's more of a possibility of it coming loose.
The driver tries to reason his case. He feels that he has secured the load properly. But Officer Lawler is having none of it.
Yeah, no, you have to do it properly. It has to be done properly. All of the straps that you have some form of deformity. What weight is in each of those?
The 2-ton pallet.
With an STF or a standard tension force of 350 kilos, he would need 7 straps to go across that if he was to do it theoretically right. He has one poor strap across the same amount. Like, he can't leave here until that's properly done. That's an accident waiting to happen.
Unless the driver can locate more straps and replace the faulty ones, his truck is going nowhere.
There must be 2 straps at least across each of those to fill your obligations.
Right.
All right? So 2, no, not those straps, 2 proper ones.
I'm in trouble because the straps that I had are now gone.
Okay, and if anybody that can come with straps...
So I don't know if he's on the way back or up the road or what, I don't know.
Give him a ring. He has to get twice the number of straps that he had already. He has made a number of phone calls. Even though he's not from the area, he's not allowed to continue until the straps have been properly put on.
He's in luck. The new straps arrive with his colleague, and the pair set about resecuring the load. And Officer Lawler is much happier with the new straps.
Tells you the amount of force you can put on the ratchet part, which is 50 decanewtons. It tells you the tension that you can get on the strap, the stretch factor, how much it can stretch. And then it gives you the code for the European standard for that strap. It's a good strap.
Take her away, Vera.
It's been rectified, but it has taken some time. It would have been well worth his while from the beginning to secure it properly, and then he wouldn't have this delay. The safety aspect here is the crucial factor. To travel with that load, 29 tons, on a flatbed, heading along the road, not being held on properly at all. Now that tells its own story.
In the world today, protecting a country's borders is vital.
It is seen as a gateway to the UK.
These are the men and women in uniform responsible for safeguarding Ireland's borders. Stopping.
Look at me, behind the yellow line.
Searching.
Have you been stopped at a checkpoint before?
We just listened to me.
And seizing drugs, arms and illegal goods.
If anyone tries to harm me, that dog will tear them to shreds.
Saving lives.
I'd say about 200 kilometers per hour.
And protecting Ireland's inhabitants and millions of visiting tourists.
You could have been here 100 times. It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get in the 101st time.
They police the ports.
But you have to make sure that definitely nobody underneath the vehicle.
The airports.
Why did you tell me you weren't working?
And the roads.
These are very badly damaged straps.
If you can't drive the truck, shouldn't be on the road.
These are the border interceptors. Coming up, the Garda Traffic Corps stop a car with UK plates and they're not happy with what they find.
Well, the bad news is it hasn't been tested, so it's going to be seized, I'm afraid.
A truck driver at an RSA checkpoint faces the prospect of a prison sentence.
Worst case scenario, €5,000 and or 6 months in jail.
And at Dublin Airport, the border guards are doubtful about a passenger's intentions in Ireland.
I asked your sister to give you a letter of invitation. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Since 1961, Cork Airport has grown into a major international hub, flying to over 40 destinations globally. More than 5,000 passengers a day pass through, making it Ireland's second busiest airport behind Dublin. Every one of those 5,000 is checked by Ireland's Garda National Immigration Bureau. Today, Officer James Ahern is manning the desk. It's estimated that over 600,000 illegal immigrants are living in the EU. Many arrived on student visas and then just disappeared.
What's the reason for your visit to Ireland?
This father and son are travelling over from a non-EU country.
How many weeks?
The son is studying in Ireland for the summer. Officer Ahern wants to check out their story.
Do you have a letter from the school or some kind of...
It is in my bag.
He claims the letter is in his bag. And his bag is beyond the passport gate.
Okay, what we'll do is I'll keep the passport. I'm going to ask you to go and get that letter from the school so I can look at it, okay?
Should I pass through?
Yeah, you can pass through. I'll keep your passport, all right?
While the father and son go in search of their luggage, Officer Ahern has another tricky situation to deal with.
How you doing?
My passport is in my hand luggage and they put it on the hold.
Arriving for a golfing holiday, this British traveller admits to not having his passport on him.
The lady said someone would take me down to my bag.
Do you have any more ID on you?
I've only got, no, I haven't. I've got a photo of it, hasn't got my face on it. Because I sent it, it's for the details. Got nothing else on me. Only my boarding pass, that's it.
Right.
As member states of the EU, free travel is allowed between the UK and Ireland. Passports are not required, but UK citizens do need to present some form of valid photo ID.
Well, because this is an international airport and you've come to immigration without a travel document,
right.
I'm going to have to get you to sit down over there and I'll get someone to get your bag, bring it down to you.
Okay.
Okay? All right, just take a seat over there and one of the brown seats over there, okay? How you doing?
The father and son were allowed landside only because they had passports. But this guy has nothing. For now, he's staying airside on international soil. The father's found his bags, and he returns letter in hand to Officer Ahern to prove why they're in the country.
Is he leaving on the 19th of August?
Yes. We have his
Not the 20th, the 19th.
Yeah, I have his ticket. Would you like to see it?
Okay, no, if you're telling me it's the 19th, I'm happy enough with that.
It all checks out, and their passports are returned.
Thank you.
They're now officially allowed into the country. But the golfer is in trouble. He needs to find some ID. And with a queue of passengers at Officer Ahern's desk, he's going nowhere fast. Every month, nearly 2 million cars cross the 500-kilometre border between Northern Ireland and the Republic. Many of them stay without being re-registered, and this is illegal. Officers Paddy McElroy and Philip Earle of the Garda Traffic Corps have found a suspect car. Its UK plates have rung alarm bells, so they've moved to investigate.
If that isn't taxed, insured and so on in the UK, the vehicle can be seized.
Morning, sir. How are we? Sorry to disturb you. Just checking that you're on foreign registered vehicle there.
The driver doesn't own the car. It belongs to his son-in-law, who has recently moved from Scotland to Ireland.
Basically what he's saying is it's his son-in-law's car. He's moved over recently from the UK and he made arrangements to put it onto Irish registration plates back in March. 4 months on it is a bit much. Okay, I take it it's totally road legal in the UK, then it'd be MOT'd and taxed and insured and so on. Okay, just be a moment, so we run a quick check.
The driver thinks he can pull the wool over their eyes in his UK car, but he clearly doesn't know about cross-border cooperation. And it's not long before the Garda get what they need.
Now, sir, that's not adding up, I'm afraid. A quick check online is telling us that it hasn't been taxed in over 2 years and it hasn't been tested in over 2 years either. So it's not road legal in the UK. Now, sir, just be a moment, we'll make a few checks.
And when they decide to investigate the driver, the plot thickens.
Control, would you have to give us a person to Connaught Road, please?
Roger, go ahead.
So he's going to come back with any incidents that he's been associated with, if any.
That was Section 41 back in 2010.
Section 41, he said a car previously taken off him.
Section.
I think we've bad news from him.
Yeah, I think so.
He's got previous, and their minds are made up. They're taking him off the road.
Now, sir, sorry for the delay. Now, I checked you'd previously had a car taken off you in 2010, I see. Well, the bad news is I'm not happy that it's road legal in Ireland. I say it hasn't been tested in over 2 years in the UK. It definitely hasn't been tested in Ireland, so it's going to be seized, I'm afraid, under provisions of Section 41 of the Road Traffic Act. What I have to do is make a lawful demand for you to produce all your documents within 10 days. So that's your certificate of exemption or insurance and a certificate of roadworthiness, the MOT or NCT for it. If you fail to do that, he'll end up in court and being prosecuted. It is a penalty point matter, obviously, driving a car that's untested.
And if he doesn't have insurance, he's facing a ban. The next place this driver is heading for is the courtroom. Back at Cork Airport, and border guard James Ahern has been approached by a passenger.
My passport is in my hand luggage and they put it on the hold. The lady said someone would take me down to my bag and then I can show it to you down there.
Do you have any more ID on you?
No.
All right, just take a seat over there. I'm one of the brown seats.
The passenger is being forced to play the waiting game while he tries to work out how to get his documents. If he can't provide some form of photo ID, he could be on the next flight back to the UK. He's not travelling alone. His friend has already crossed the border. He hopes to track them down via text and retrieve his passport that way.
This is an international airport. You can't come through immigration without your passport or travel document. The airline and its handling agents are under obligation to remind all passengers if they take their bags off to remove their travel documents from their bags. So this creates a big problem for us and for the passengers.
The text got through.
Yeah, you can pass through.
And his friend finally appears with his bag. With his documents to hand, he is able to return to the immigration desk.
You understand that because it's an international airport, we need to see a travel document before you can pass through immigration?
I wasn't expecting to get through without it. I just thought...
Yeah. Okay, very good. Thanks for that. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
They put my bag on the hold, and I literally remembered as the wheels went down, I was like, oh no, I ain't got my passport. But it was all right, to be fair, so it's all sorted, isn't it? Hopefully I'll have my passport when I come back.
It's crazy coming into an airport, international or not, without a travel document. It's crazy.
Road Safety Inspector Jim Fleming is manning a checkpoint outside of Dublin. They have selected a busy stretch of road as trucks are required to deliver goods across the borders.
I'll just have a quick look at this download, I'll be back to you.
The Road Safety Authority use these checks to ensure that all vehicle safety regulations are being followed. If a driver is found to be operating outside the limits of the law, the RSA have the power to seize the vehicle and impound it. Inspector Fleming's next truck is an import. Companies often import trucks from the UK and re-register them in Ireland, saving them thousands of pounds.
My name is Jim Fleming, I'm a transport officer at the RSA. I just want to have a look at your tacho and go through the licensing details with you.
All trucks operating in the EU are required by law to record on a tachograph detailed information about every journey they make. If they don't comply, they can face fines in excess of €3,000, as well as 4 months or more in jail and a 6-month driving ban. In 2014, the RSA took nearly 300 prosecutions to court.
I'll just have a quick look at this download, I'll be back to you.
The tacho download will allow him to see if the driver is keeping to the strict regulations on driving hours.
So we'll just have a look at the download now and see.
Drivers have a personal driver's card to use in the tacho whilst on shift.
You can see there last Tuesday, the vehicle was driven for a day with no driver card in it.
There's a problem with the driver's card. Jim is now more than suspicious about the truck's activity. No card should mean no journey.
Tachograph is not in compliance with the regulations.
The tachograph has also revealed to him that the vehicle has the wrong registration details and no operator license. Things don't look good for the driver. And jail time is not out of the question.
I was driving there for a couple of days, but I can't just stop work, you know. I put in for the card. I had my card still working while I was waiting for it.
Yeah, well, driving in the last 28 days is on it. You should have held on to it.
With the gravity of the offences hanging over him, the driver calls his company manager. And it's not long before he arrives.
I'll just read this back to you because you're in it as well. I just need to go through this.
What's the fine for that?
Worst case scenario, €5,000 and or 6 months in jail.
Finally, the full impact of the situation hits home.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
With a large fine and potential jail time on the table, the company manager will need to act fast to rectify the infringements. For now, the men are on their way with a warning. But if they don't provide proof that the problems have been sorted out, their next stop could be a cell. In 2017, Dublin was the fastest growing major European airport, with close to 30 million passengers passing through from far-flung destinations like Abu Dhabi, New York, and Hong Kong. There's a constant threat of illegal immigrants trying to get into Ireland, sometimes to stay, sometimes to travel on to the UK. It's vitally important to check each and every passenger, a task that falls to the officers working the immigration desks. Officers like Mick Lally.
Will you sign that when you go home?
If he suspects a passenger doesn't have enough funds for their stay, or can't prove they're here legitimately, then they're not getting in.
How long are you here for?
Career break for 3 months.
Right.
She invited me here.
A woman has recently landed from Toronto. She says she's here to visit her sister. If he's going to grant her leave to land, he's going to need more information.
Right, if you're coming to stay with your sister, did your sister give you a letter of invitation?
Yeah, she invited me here.
Did she give you a letter?
Her English is good, but she doesn't understand what Officer Lally wants.
No letter.
So how do I know she's invited you?
I don't know. She didn't.
I do not know. That is the answer. I asked your sister to give you a letter of invitation. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know about that letter. I don't know.
Without the letter, she has to convince him that she's genuine, or he could refuse her entry. It's the night shift for the Garda Traffic Corps. Officers Mark Fay and Paddy McElroy are patrolling the roads between Dublin Port and Dublin Airport. They have spotted a car driving erratically.
There he is.
They head off in pursuit.
Well used to drive around here at speed, not getting stopped. Until today.
And it's not long before they've cornered him.
How are you doing? Okay, the reason why I'm stopping you is your manner of driving, okay?
Yes, I forgot to indicate.
You've got to indicate, but it's also the manner of speed in which you're driving as well. Okay, I'm going to conduct a test with you, okay? So if you want to turn off the engine of the car, and I'll show you the test I'm going to do with you, okay? So hop out.
In 2017, the Garda Traffic Corps ran over 50,000 mandatory roadside checks for drug intoxication. Driving under the influence of drugs carries a maximum fine of €5,000, up to 6 months in prison, and a 12-month driving ban.
I need you to take it, rub it on the inside of your mouth. When this goes blue, I'll tell you when to stop. Okay, it takes a few minutes, so you go ahead. As much phlegm as you possibly can. Let me see it. No, keep going.
Just driving erratically, especially at this time of night, anybody could still be out walking their dogs. It's the summertime, kids will be out. Could still be out at this time. You just never know. It's not acceptable.
The test is taking too long. They should have a result by now.
Oh. Still no. Keep going.
Strange.
The officer inspects the test device.
You broke the glass.
Ow.
You chewed on it.
With a broken mouthpiece, the test is void. He has no choice but to start again.
Okay, no, don't chew on it. Suck on it.
And again, there's a problem with the machine.
You've broken again.
You told me I have to suck, that's all what I did.
Yeah, I told you to suck. You're breaking the glass. You're actually breaking the piece.
Could it be that this driver is wise to the test and is deliberately breaking the equipment? If he is, the Garda are having none of it, and it's third time lucky. The officer slots the sample into the test machine to get the results.
Now we wait. All right? Okay.
The Garda now have to play the waiting game whilst the machine does its work. Back at Dublin Airport, Officer Mick Lally is dealing with a passenger who has recently landed from Toronto.
Right, if you're coming to stay with your sister, did your sister give you a letter of invitation?
Yeah, she invited me here.
She says she's here to stay with her sister, but Mick's not convinced.
No letter.
So how do I know she's invited you?
She has no proof of her reasons for coming to Ireland.
You need a letter of invitation from her, because if she's accommodating you, then you don't have to show hotel bookings or that.
I've been here in 2012 as well.
I know, but what I'm trying to explain to you is you could have been here 100 times. It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get in the 101st time.
You can check in my file here. Don't you guys have
How do you know
files?
you have a file? You mightn't have a file.
Well,
Where did you fly from? Do you have a return ticket?
Yeah.
Are you going to show it to me?
Oh, they didn't print it yet, but I have a return flight August 29 to Canada, Edmonton.
Mick has decided how to proceed. Having verified the woman's return flight, Mick is convinced enough to grant her entry to the country.
Okay.
She's allowed to be on her way, and Mick moves on to the next in line. On the night shift,
there he is.
Garda traffic officers have stopped a Hungarian driver who was driving erratically.
Okay, the reason why we're stopping you is your manner of driving, okay?
With activity around the port busy both day and night,
when this goes blue, I'll tell you when to stop.
It's important that dangerous drivers are stopped and, if necessary, taken off the roads.
You broke the glass.
They suspect he is under the influence of drugs. And after a couple of failed attempts, have managed to get a saliva sample from him.
This machine shows everything.
It shows these four things. So it shows cocaine, opiates being heroin, benzos, and cannabis.
And I will lose my driving license.
Well, it all depends. You'll be brought back to a Garda station. We'll get a blood specimen back off you in the Garda station, and then it'll be sent off for analysis. And if it's detected in the blood, well, then you'll be summoned to court. And then it's a 1-year disqualification off the road if convicted in court.
They've been waiting patiently, and now the results are in. It's bad news for the driver.
You have tested positive for cocaine.
That is good
So
or
far,
bad?
that's bad.
Okay.
Okay, so I have to inform you that I'm arresting you on suspicion of being under the influence of drugs while driving. You are not obliged to say it unless you wish to do so, but anything you do say will be taken down in writing and may be given in evidence. Do you understand what all this means?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It's down to the station for a blood test to confirm the result. If it comes back positive, this man is facing losing his license a maximum £5,000 fine, and possible jail time.
Do you take much cocaine?
No. Just that was actually Saturday night, you know.
Yeah. See how long it stays in the system for?
He claims it's been 48 hours since he took the drug. But that doesn't help. Cocaine can still be detected in the system in that time.
Our holiday started from this Monday because the whole factory and the company is closed down completely. So, like a little celebrate, but it was really stupid.
What do you work as?
Fitting doors and windows.
Right, so you a driver?
Yeah, yes, actually, yes.
So you need your license?
If I lose my license, I'll lose my job straight away.
A lesson, hopefully this is a lesson for you.
It's a big lesson.
The seriousness of the situation hits home. He's not only facing losing his license, but his livelihood too. In the world today, protecting a country's borders is vital.
It is seen as a gateway to the UK.
These are the men and women in uniform responsible for safeguarding Ireland's borders. Stopping.
Look at me, behind the yellow line.
Searching.
Have you been stopped at a checkpoint before?
We just listened to me.
And seizing drugs, arms and illegal goods.
If anyone tries to harm me, that dog will tear them to shreds.
Saving lives.
I'd say about 200 kilometres per hour.
And protecting Ireland's inhabitants and millions of visiting tourists.
You could have been here 100 times. It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get in the 101st time.
They police the ports.
But you have to make sure that definitely nobody underneath the vehicle.
The airports.
Why did you tell me you weren't working?
And the roads.
These are very badly damaged trams.
If you can't drive the truck, shouldn't be on the road.
These are the border interceptors. Coming up, a failed former asylum seeker returns to Ireland. But will immigration officers let her in this time?
When were you here?
2003.
A checkpoint outside Dublin has the traffic cops seizing illegal vehicles off the road.
There's just too many things wrong with it.
And problems with a passport risk a passenger's entry to Ireland.
I can't find anywhere to land a stamp.
I think it's stamp.
A record nearly 30 million passengers travelled through Dublin Airport in 2017, the majority from Europe, followed by transatlantic flights. But 2017 also saw a record 850,000 passengers arriving at Dublin from other international destinations, including the Middle East and Africa.
Chile, Santiago, capital.
Okay.
With increased international passenger numbers comes an increased risk of people attempting to enter the country illegally. Department of Justice figures show that the Republic of Ireland is facing its highest level of asylum claims for a decade. So it's vital that officers at border control continue to scrutinise passengers to make sure they are entitled to visit or stay in the country. Working at the non-EU passenger booth today is Officer Ray Flannery. The family arrives at his desk, and Officer Flannery begins the process of assessment.
Have you been here before?
The mother.
When were you here?
2003. As an asylum seeker.
The woman admits she travelled to Ireland before, in 2003, when she applied for asylum. Her application was refused. Officer Flannery needs to ascertain why she's returned to Ireland, this time with her family, and if she intends to apply for asylum again.
And why come back now?
Because my daughter has expressed the interest in growing in Ireland so she could grow with the culture.
Have you any documents from the Irish government?
It appears the couple are not seeking asylum, but have no documents or visas to allow them to enter Ireland. Instead, they reveal important information they believe allows them to enter the country.
No, we apply and they get website.
As their daughter was born in Ireland, she has an Irish birth certificate, which the couple are able to present to Officer Flannery. This immediately changes everything. Born before the 1st of January 2005, their child is an Irish citizen and entitled to be in the country.
Yeah, stand right back to the wall.
And as her legal guardians, her parents are also allowed to enter the country. Officer Flannery processes them. Taking their photo for the immigration database, he grants the family an initial 90-day stay in the country.
Now you must go to local police in Ennis within 3 months and they will register you there and extend your time. They have the child's birth cert and Irish passport, so they have proof that the child is Irish and is entitled to be here. Just push.
Despite previously being denied asylum, the family are allowed into the country and are making plans.
At least my daughter will have the chance of, mixing with, the Irish people, so that when she grows up, she's not left out. Otherwise, if you're an Irish and then you come here and you're a stranger and in your own country, so I'm happy that my visa application went through and I'm finally here in Ireland. I'm really happy.
Patrolling the roads outside of Dublin Airport are traffic officers Paddy McElroy and Philip Earle. Stationed on a major route linking Dublin and the rest of the country, the officers have set up a roadside checkpoint to spot check vehicles and to get those breaking the law off the road. Officer McElroy pulls over his first vehicle.
How are you, sir? You know your taxi's out of date, do you? Oh, you have your mobile phone in your possession as well. So that's 2 different offences you committed in the space of 2 seconds. All right. Sort it out, will you?
Given it's just out of date, on this occasion the officer lets him off with a verbal warning.
The taxi's only 0418. Obviously he's trying to avoid it. So you can see the first car we stopped.
The officers pull over any vehicle that looks suspicious or has been flagged for out-of-date tax.
How are you, sir? A few issues there. Did you? Well, pull in there for a second, will you? Just want to chat with you. Can you tell me what's the story of the tax?
And it's not long before another car is stopped.
Right, do you have any proof that you just bought on the 19th of June? Patrol, I'm just looking for a reg check in Balbriggan if I could, please.
While waiting for the registration details to come through, the driver reveals something else about the car that doesn't help his cause. A failed National Car Test certificate.
So failed on the front suspension, anti-roll bars, seats, child seat in the back insecure, side lamps and the intensity of that wasn't the correct. I have to get all those checked.
The results of a radio check come through, and it only adds to the situation. The driver has lied about the purchase date of the vehicle. He's had plenty of time to ensure the car was road legal. There's only one option for Officer McElroy.
All right, Gareth. You have this since the 5th of February, do you?
We bought it, sold it,
You bought it and sold it and bought it again. You know this vehicle's going to be seized, you don't understand that? Yeah? The vehicle's not NCT'd. There's just too many things wrong with it. Under Section 41 of the Road Traffic Act, the vehicle's going to be seized, of which I'm going to give you documentation where you can get it back.
With one car seized and a queue of cars waiting, Officer McElroy is straight on to the next vehicle.
Right, so your tax is out a year? Not taxed in the next month. I'm going to be ringing and we're checking. I want you to produce the document and say that you've changed it back into your own name.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah.
As her tax is only just expired, the driver has a month to provide evidence she has re-taxed her car. But it's not looking so good for the next driver.
What's the story? You've no insurance? You've no insurance?
No, I have the insurance. So...
With a number of Shannon's flights arriving from non-EU destinations, border control is tight, and all procedures are followed to the letter. A flight has just arrived from Boston, and the immigration officers are performing the checks at passport control. Sometimes remembering your passport isn't enough.
How long will you be here?
Entry-only stamps are issued in the Republic of Ireland. They're granted by immigration officers, giving you official permission to enter the country.
You're running out of room, ma'am.
And having room for a stamp is a requirement.
Your passport is full. I can't find anywhere to land a stamp. You can be turned back for that, you know that. It is actually a reason for refusal. I don't know if many people know that or not, but they can be sent back.
It's a worrying situation for the passenger.
It is actually up to the person who owns the passport to make sure that there's enough room to land a stamp. You might find somewhere where I'd be able to stamp your passport.
The husband takes a look. If they can't find room for a stamp, she can't be officially granted permission to land. She faces the very real possibility of being separated from her family and forced to fly home to Boston alone.
How big is your stamp? Big, like that size?
Yes. I'm going to try and find some corner of your passport to do that.
The officer makes his decision.
But there are other jurisdictions that wouldn't accept this, you know.
Thanks very much.
You're going to run into trouble eventually, you know. If a stamp can't be landed by an immigration officer, not just in this jurisdiction, but probably pretty much in every other jurisdiction, they can be sent back.
She's free to enter the country on this occasion, but she might not be so lucky next time.
Last time they told me to get more pages, but I didn't do it. Just time to get a new one.
I'd welcome smaller stamps for a standard passport. People are traveling a lot more these days, going in and out of countries that don't have visa waiver programs, so I think it'd be probably helpful.
He said, oh, you need to get it fixed, and speaking to your wife, and she's
Operating a roadside checkpoint on the outskirts of Dublin, officers McElroy and Earl are stopping and seizing vehicles that shouldn't be on the road. And having already claimed one car, it's not looking good for another driver, despite her arguments.
No insurance?
No, I have the insurance. So
You're not
putting the insurance tomorrow.
No, this vehicle's being seized now, okay? You're not driving this car further than here.
It's very stressful for me.
Yeah, well, if I let you drive 2 minutes down the road and you're involved in the crash, you have no insurance. What's that make me look like?
No, because I'm only going to park it.
I know you're only going. You could only be driving into that driveway and still be taking it. You've told me.
The problem, if it's sleep there, we need to pay the money. That's the problem.
But you have told me you've no insurance. That's a big offence.
Because I don't. If you don't want me to lie to you, I have the insurance. You can't see it.
No. So the vehicle is being seized.
No, I know it's seized. So can I get your name? Maybe
Yes, of course.
I
I will write my name on this. And you want to make your way down to the motorway and get the taxi home.
To get their cars back, the drivers need to produce valid tax and insurance documents. And it needs to be done promptly. If the cars are not claimed after 3 weeks, there's a possibility they will be crushed. Detective Garda Mick Lally is on duty at Dublin Airport, checking passports and helping to safeguard Ireland's borders. The next visitor in line is an American lady who has arrived to work with the charity looking after elderly people.
And who are you working for here?
Friends of the Elderly. It's a non-profit based in Dublin.
Where is it?
25 Bolton Street.
And do you have a date for return home?
Yes, August 20th.
Do you definitely go on that date, yeah?
Officer Lally has to ensure that the information she is giving is legitimate. If it doesn't check out, he could put her straight back on a plane to the US. Meanwhile, at Detective Garda Ray Flannery's booth, a young Australian girl has handed over her passport. But Officer Flannery isn't happy.
Problem is that you've had a refusal in the UK, so that generally creates a problem here. If you've been refused there, you don't generally get permission to come in here. And The only grounds they gave you for refusal was that you didn't have a work permit.
Working visa, yeah.
Would you not have thought to look for one before?
Well, I had thought that if I started just training or working there,
No.
then I could apply for one.
No.
But no, you
All
have
has to be obtained beforehand.
Yeah.
So they refused you and then they allowed you into
the UK.
for 3 days.
With a refusal already on her record, it looks like the girl is going to become one of the 4,000 people turned away at Ireland's borders every year. Meanwhile, Officer Lally checks that all the details of the charity worker are correct and her paperwork is valid for her stay.
What did you say is the name of the place?
Friends of the Elderly.
Satisfied that everything is in order, he takes her photo for the immigration database.
Now, will you just stand there to get your photograph, please?
He explains that he's given her the maximum length of stay that he's allowed to. If she wants to stay longer, she'll have to apply for an extension at the immigration office in Dublin.
Now, I've given you till the 30th of August. That's the longest I can give you, so if you decide you want to stay on for a few days, you'll have to go to immigration and tell them, you know.
Officer Lally returns her documents and allows her to be on her way.
Yeah. Okay.
Back at Officer Flannery's booth, though, the young Australian isn't having as much luck.
So how many days do you intend coming here for? In total?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. How much money do you have with you for your stay?
I have 900 euros.
Unprepared and travelling without the correct work permits, he needs to assess whether he thinks she is a risk to island security.
Where are you going to stay here?
In Westmeath, Southern Ireland.
Westmeath. Okay. Okay, so you're going to stay with him for 2 weeks.
Yes.
And then?
Fly to either Dubai, direct from here, or just use that route if Emirates won't let me change. Fly from here to Düsseldorf, then just use that.
Okay. Right, I'll allow you 2 weeks.
Okay.
Happy she is telling the truth and has enough funds to support her proposed stay in Ireland, he grants her access for 2 weeks. After that, she will have to leave Ireland and apply for the correct work permits to return.
Hopefully the visa will only take up to 3 months maximum. They have already notified us, and then I'll return to the UK to work.
At Dublin Port, preparations are being made for the arrival of a massive international cargo ship, the San Fernando Rey. And that includes making sure security is tight. A record 36.4 million tonnes of cargo passed through the port in 2017, including half of Ireland's oil and 80% of its freight. So keeping on top of safety and security is a vitally important job. The San Fernando Rey needs careful attention. At 137 metres long and weighing over 12,000 tonnes, it can only be docked at certain times of the day when the water depth in the port is deep enough. A member of the port's team, known as a pilot, has headed out to the cargo ship to oversee docking the vessel. Safety is paramount. With a boat this big, an accident would be hugely dangerous. With his knowledge of the port, the pilot ensures the ship can safely dock. His presence is a requirement for all large commercial vessels arriving at the port. Once on board, he takes control of the ship and, with the help of tugs, maneuvers into its docking position. Once secure, the port can start unloading the ship's cargo. While its dock security is tight, port officers police landslide, while the ship's security officer is responsible for on board. Nearly 4,000 illegal immigrants are deported from Ireland every year, around 15% of them from African countries. A ship the size of the San Fernando Rey is a perfect target for stowaways and criminals. And while the ship is docked, the security officer makes regular security searches.
Usually we made the security round around the ship every 4 hours. When I'm making a ship search, I'm looking for persons which I never seen, and maybe some strange or unknown, for me, unknown objects.
On this occasion, the security search turns up nothing. But he'll need to remain vigilant until the ship finally leaves Dublin port. Roadside checks have become a vital tool in the Road Safety Authority's battle against unroadworthy vehicles.
Right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Officer Liam Lawler is manning a roadside checkpoint. This trailer is going to need further investigation.
You have no number plate, no brake lights, and no right indicator.
Yeah, but when I go, it was working, you know what I mean?
Are you Polish?
Oh, it's Slovak.
Slovak.
Being part of the EU, driving on a Slovakian licence is perfectly legal. But breaking Irish traffic laws is not.
Okay, you don't have a licence to pull a trailer because this trailer has a maximum authorised mass of 2,700 kilos. You don't have the category here to pull the trailer, which is BE.
Yeah, okay.
But you don't have that.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, this is a car licence.
Yeah, but I did this 96. I pay a course for that in Slovakia that I can pull the trailer.
Okay. It clearly shows here the EB licence, or BE, which is the same thing, car and trailer, which you don't have.
Yeah, this 96 means that I can pull any trailer to the size of 4.5 ton.
But you don't have the actual category licence to pull a trailer at all, according to this. Well, there was a few things. The trailer didn't have proper brakes. There was no number plate, no brake lights, no indicator on the right. But the real issue was the licence. He had a code 96 from Slovakia. Now, I don't understand the codes because obviously if there's 96 codes, he wouldn't remember them. But what it basically said was that he could pull a trailer up to a certain weight, which was 4,250 kilos, without what we would call a trailer licence, which doesn't make sense.
This trailer's too heavy for the truck, and Officer Lawler believes the driver hasn't even got the necessary licence to pull it.
Yeah, I know. That's why I did this license.
And your van, I think, is 3,500 kilos, is that right?
Yeah.
A design weight?
Yeah.
So it needs...
Yeah, but that's why I did the license for pulling the trailer.
No, you didn't.
Officer Lawler is suspicious.
I can prove it.
Where did you do your test?
In Slovakia.
How long are you in Ireland?
I'm 15 years. I bought home caravan and that's why I did this special license.
You just went back to Slovakia for the purpose of getting this class on your license?
Yeah.
And why didn't you do your test here if you're here 15 years?
I don't know.
Whatever has happened, you still didn't get your category on your license here, BE. You did the test with the trailer?
No. In Slovakia, if you want to have a caravan or any trailer, you don't need to do any test. Just extend your license.
Without any test?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. He's saying that he didn't do the test, he just did a theory test, and he was able to get this extension on his license to pull a trailer. Now here we have a different system where if you want to pull that size of trailer, you have to do a test. So I need to look into it more.
Officer Lawler discusses it further with his colleague from the RSA. They have the power to pull the vehicle off the road if necessary.
I'm finished. Just get the trailer fixed. So.
This driver will have to get his trailer fixed. The Garda and RSA have his number. In the world today, protecting a country's borders is vital.
It is seen as a gateway to the UK.
These are the men and women in uniform responsible for safeguarding Ireland's borders. Stopping.
Look at me, behind the yellow line.
Searching.
Have you been stopped at a checkpoint before?
You just listen to me.
And seizing drugs, arms and illegal goods.
If anyone tries to harm me, that dog will tear them to shreds.
Saving lives.
I'd say about 200 kilometers per hour.
And protecting Ireland's inhabitants and millions of visiting tourists.
You could have been here 100 times. It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get in the 101st time.
They police the ports.
But you have to make sure that definitely nobody underneath the vehicle.
The airports.
Why did you tell me you weren't working?
And the roads.
These are very badly damaged straps.
If you can't drive the truck, shouldn't be on the road.
These are the Border Interceptors. Coming up, a Mexican passenger needs to convince immigration on her intentions.
Do you have the name of the hotel?
Trucks with tyre troubles are heading for the border.
If he was to get a blowout going along the road, he could lose his load.
And a van full of weapons is stopped at Dublin Port.
The ones I've ever seen have only been plastic. I've never seen come across these real ones, you know.
Dublin Airport is Ireland's busiest entry point for passengers flying to the country. 4,000 people are refused leave to land in Ireland every year, 10% of whom come from South America. A young Mexican lady has just landed and has arrived at Officer Danny O'Connell's desk.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
And how long are you staying with us?
5 days.
5 days.
And then I go to Prague with my brothers.
To Prague. Very good. So why are you here?
Tourism.
Tourism. Very good. First time in Ireland?
Yeah, the first one.
How much money do you have for your stay?
How much money?
Yeah.
I have around 400 euros.
400 euros.
Officer O'Connell needs to determine if she qualifies as a visitor. As part of their profiling process, customs officers want to know that travellers have enough money with them to meet their basic needs. If he's not satisfied, she may not be granted permission to enter the country.
Where will you stay?
In a hotel with my 2 brothers.
Your 2 brothers, are they here?
No,
No.
they are waiting for me.
Very good. In Dublin. And is the hotel paid for? Paid for already? By you or by your brothers? Brothers. Do you have the name of the hotel?
He wants to be sure that she is telling the truth about her reasons for being in Ireland.
So he's at the hotel already? Can you give me his contact number?
Yeah.
Please.
I can call him.
Yeah, please.
He needs to ensure that she doesn't become one of the many who disappear every year, seeking access to the UK and Europe via the back door of Ireland. But it seems she can't get through to her brother. Today, Road Safety Authority Inspector Tommy Wright is roadside.
We're down in Waterford Port. We're going to be stopping stuff on the way in to carry out inspections.
He's manning a checkpoint on the only road in and out of Waterford Port, the cargo gateway to Ireland's southeast. Every truck using the port will have to pass his way.
At the port, you're guaranteed more traffic coming in here, because they all have a purpose. How are you doing? Oh boy, there's some heat out there. I'll be like a turkey by the time I'm finished.
Finding a defect could lead to a truck being pulled off the road and the driver unable to continue with their journey.
You can understand people getting wound up about being stopped. They have to be in wherever it is, But if we don't do our job properly, well then something could happen down the road,
The RSA's target is for Ireland to have one of the lowest casualty rates in Europe. And it's through continued roadside checks like this that they will reach their goal.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
With this first vehicle on its way, the next truck is waiting for its inspection. Each driver is required by law to perform a walk-around check every day to make sure the vehicle is in good working order. These inspections are a simple way to make sure this procedure is taking place.
He should have done a walk-around check today. He should have seen that the tyre was like that, and it should have been changed. It's unsafe, it's dangerous. If he was to get a blowout going along the road, he could lose his load, and that could be thrown all over the place. So that's how bad it is,
Every year, the RSA inspects thousands of trucks and buses at the roadside to check if they're compliant. In 2016, over 15,000 vehicles were checked, with 43% of them found to have at least one defect. tyres that weren't roadworthy and often incredibly dangerous was the most common issue found.
My colleague is after speaking to the guard, so what he's going to be allowed to do, because here isn't a place that you can change a tyre easily, he's going to be allowed to go down to the port. A tyre man will have to come change the tyre before he's allowed to go any further. He's only a couple of 100 yards away from the port, so the guard is happy enough to leave him go down as far as there, and it'll be sorted in before he goes back on the road. But it shouldn't have been like that in the first place. He shouldn't have picked up a load of timber with a tyre that's as bad as that. Like.
The next truck along is carrying the same load to the port. But will it be in a more roadworthy state?
Did you do a walk-around check today?
Yeah.
Okay, and have you means of recording your defects if you find any?
I don't know.
Why is that?
I don't know.
How do you mean you don't know?
I don't have a book. Like.
You know you're required by law to carry out a walk-around check.
Yeah.
When you find something wrong, you need to record it on it. Yeah?
Right.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look around, okay? It doesn't matter what kind of a panic or rush that the driver is in, we still have our job to do as the guards have. We have to enforce the regulations to make sure that all the vehicles are in a roadworthy condition. We have to make sure that things are okay before they're allowed to proceed, like so. Tyre is below the legal limit. It's bald in 3/4 of it, like there's no excuse for a fella that's driving the same rig every day of the week. He should know the condition of his tyres. All he has to do is bend down and have a look, and he'll know. He's required by law to do it every day. So when he sees that they're getting as bad as they are, he should have dealt with it before now. Like, it shouldn't have to be the case that I have to deal with it on the road. He's after coming from up the middle of the country, all the ways down here to the southeast, like, with a full load of timber on board, like. So with the day that's in it, the heat that's there, the tyre could blow.
The driver needs to take immediate action.
Did you not see those tyres yourself?
I didn't think they were
Under the limit. Yeah. How often does it go in for? It goes in every weekend, so it isn't today or yesterday that they're like that, like, you know. The onus was on him to make sure his vehicle was roadworthy. He obviously didn't do that, so he'll have to replace the tyres down there, the same as the last person. Make contact with us. We will then come down and check to make sure that they have been changed. Okay, so I expect to hear from you so in the next hourish, all right? Good man, thanks very much. Well, you can understand it for the price of tyres, like, they're a couple of €100 a pop, like, you know, so you can understand it to a certain extent, getting the most out of them. But you can get the most out of them and you can still be legal. Do you know what I mean?
The cost of a tyre is a small price to pay for better safety on the roads. This driver has got an hour to sort it, and the clock is ticking. Back in Dublin Airport.
Hello, how are you?
This passenger from Mexico claims to be meeting her brother. Officer O'Connell needs to verify her story. He's asked her where she's staying, but she says she doesn't know.
I can call him?
Yeah, please.
For him to be able to make the right decision, the officer needs to speak to her brother, but she can't get through.
Do you have his number and I can ring him from here?
Not to be deterred, he gets the phone number and tries himself. But before he can get through to her brother, the passenger finds the name of the hotel.
This is where he will stay? Okay, that's okay. Now, photo, just over here, please. Yeah.
Satisfied with the information she gives, he takes her photo for the immigration database.
Yeah, that's fine, thank you. Now, your documents and your passport. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Before allowing her entry to Ireland.
Next.
Dublin International Airport serves 180 routes with 41 airlines. This can cause 1 or 2 headaches at immigration for the officers on the front line. At Garda officer Mick Lally's booth,
what are you doing here?
There are problems with a young man who doesn't speak English.
Does he speak English?
Thank you.
Do you speak English?
Yeah, I do. Exactly.
Okay. And you send the guy up first who speaks no English?
Sorry?
You send up the guy who speaks no English? You're travelling together?
Yeah, yes.
What are you doing here? Yeah.
We were in London.
What?
We were traveling in London. Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Just vacation, just travel.
Can I see your tickets to leave, please?
And at Detective Garda Ray Flannery's booth, a Portuguese couple have just approached with their passports.
Why are you here?
And he uses the opportunity to show off his fluent Portuguese.
Porque você está aqui? Estudar. Você tem que registrar aqui, okay? Dentro de 3 meses. Esse endereço no mapa, centro da cidade.
It's due to his multilingual skills that he is able to process the couple quickly.
Registrar ao mesmo tempo, okay?
In his booth, Officer Lally is becoming increasingly frustrated.
It's an e-ticket.
Listen, excuse me. Excuse me. Everybody flies on e-tickets.
Yeah.
You print off your itinerary if you wish to travel here. That's how it works.
Not only are they struggling to understand what he is telling them,
Listen, everybody flies on
but they haven't printed their return tickets for him to inspect.
You're going to where after here?
We go back to London.
Go back to London, and then where do you go?
Back to
Sure,
Taiwan.
where did you fly from?
What?
Prague.
Back to Taiwan.
How long are you staying in Ireland?
Until next Wednesday.
Are you living in Taiwan?
Taiwan and Canada. Both countries.
You live in both?
Yes.
Despite the language barrier and difficulties with their return ticket, Officer Lally is satisfied that they are in the country for the right reasons.
Yeah.
It's back to Officer Danny O'Connell, who is also checking passports at Dublin Airport.
Thanks very much. Hello, how are you?
A flight has just landed from Vienna, and this passenger has a serious problem. No ID.
You're not gonna like this, it's a complicated story. I live here, but
Yes.
I just lost my passport, my wallet, and everything basically in Austria.
Okay.
Although he has lost his documents in Europe, it is possible to fly without a passport if it's lost or stolen while abroad. Applying for an emergency travel document will allow a one-trip journey to your final destination. Having got permission to travel to Ireland, Officer O'Connell now needs to prove this passenger's identity before he can be let into the country.
This guy knows about
Yep.
it.
Okay.
But I have a copy of my GNIB card.
Perfect. Thanks a million.
And he's got an ace up his sleeve. A photo of his immigration or GNIB card on his phone.
A GNIB card is basically the Garda National Immigration Bureau card that is issued to non-Europeans. They might be the partners of Irish or EU citizens entitled to live here. They have to carry the card at all times, not only when travelling in and out of here, but also if they're stopped by a guard on the streets of Ireland.
Maybe swipe it.
So you rang Kevin earlier?
Well, I was, Aer Lingus rang him from Vienna.
That's no problem.
Allowing Officer O'Connell to cross-reference his immigration details has meant this well-prepared traveller is on his way home.
I had got an email just to say that one of my colleagues had been in touch and given him permission to travel. He had a scan of his GNIB card on his phone, so I was able to check him out on our system. This is him here, and he is legal here. He's married to an Irish national. Her details are here, his details are here, his photograph is here. So I was satisfied that his story was true. No harm at all to have your passport on, especially the phones nowadays, the smartphones and that, have your passport on it. If you need a visa, if you're coming in, have a copy of that, your GNIB, it's no harm.
In December 2017, the GNIB card was phased out and replaced by the Irish residence permit, which carries exactly the same legal status. Dublin Port is a gateway to the Republic of Ireland. It's a well-trodden route by haulage vehicles and tourists alike. Security measures are in place to keep everyone safe.
Morning, Owen. Just coming in to do our usual.
Officers Vinnie Marr and Derek McGawley are searching for prohibited items.
Morning. Port security. We just do random searches, but I can see our boarding card on some photo ID, please.
Spare containers of fuel, guns and firearms are not allowed on board. The International Maritime Organization have developed a code to help enhance the security of ships and port facilities.
We're on a level 1 at the moment, so we just have to do 5% of all vehicles coming through the port. It goes from 5%, 10%, and then it goes up to 100% on level 3. So every port in the country and the land has to comply.
It might be a low security risk day, but they're still looking for other objects that could be dangerous if they got into the wrong hands.
Thank you very much for your time. All the best, yeah. You wouldn't just have a quick look at this? Not carrying any firearms, any dangerous chemicals, anything at all? Well, no weapons anyway.
Well, we've got reenactment weapons, which are all blunt.
Reenactments, yeah.
Reenactors bring history to life through performances of famous battles.
I stopped a guy here in the summertime and he had a samurai sword it was. I said, sorry? A samurai sword? He said, nothing to panic about. It's just a prop. It's this time of the year we get a lot of reenactments. All these people, they have swords, weapons, but they're only, plastic or whatever.
These weapons may be fake, but they still have the potential to cause severe damage.
So are these items, real?
The metal reenactment swords,
right.
But they're all blunt.
Oh, right, yeah. The ones I've ever seen have only been plastic. I've never seen come across these real ones, No.
So you have them locked away in the safe anyway?
That's it. No, that's fine. You have them locked, yeah, and they're bolted, yeah. That's brilliant.
Satisfied that the props are stored securely, they advise the ship's company security officer about their find.
Go ahead. Keith, we have a Mercedes van here. He has weapons. Now, they're reenactments. They're in a steel case. It's bolted to the end of the van. If you want to inform the ship in case they want to maybe locate it in a different location on the ship, but they are blunt over.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'll inform the ship, all right.
We'll contact our CSO and he'll just inform the ship what they're carrying. So we shouldn't really have a problem. But the ship might want the van stored in a separate place. Yeah. Yeah.
This time, security have no axe to grind with this Viking, and he lives to fight another day.
Most of the time, anything you find in these, people have a reason for having them. It's always something that they're either working with or they're bringing away on the holidays to use, But once it's stored away somewhere safe, there's no problem with it,
Skirting around Dublin City, the M50 motorway links the port to the airport. It's busy 24 hours a day, and it's vital that drivers are paying attention to the road. Garda Traffic Corps officers Paddy McElroy and Philip Earl are driving an unmarked car, giving them the upper hand. They spot a driver using his mobile phone behind the wheel and pull him over.
The advantage of the unmarked car, obviously for us, is it's a lot easier for us to observe what people are doing and to follow them discreetly. The disadvantage, of course, from the public's point of view is that they don't see the police presence. Even though there could be a large police presence in the area, they don't see it.
In the wet conditions, there's no way this driver is getting away with the offence.
So this fella's going to get an FCPN, or a fixed charge penalty notice, sent out to his address, which carries a fine of €60 and 3 penalty points. If he doesn't pay the initial fine of 28 days, it goes up to €90 and 2 penalty points. If he doesn't pay that, it goes to summons, and conviction in court, it's 5 penalty points.
And it seems to be a day for it. It's not long before they've spotted another driver who can't leave his handset alone. Except this guy drives for a living.
That's a taxi professional driver, so there's no excuse for that. First jacket back.
Like in this day and age, for a professional driver not to have a hands-free kit just doesn't make any sense. A basic 60 kilometres an hour, you're travelling 1 kilometre every minute. So you can imagine those few seconds of just staring at a phone, how much road you've covered. You will literally see people on the motorways using social media. It's crazy. It's so distracting.
Like the driver before him, He's getting a ticket and 3 penalty points, which is really bad news.
This taxi driver that's been stopped for this mobile phone issue has stated that he has 9 penalty points already. If he pays this fine, which is 3 penalty points, and accumulated 12 points in a period where he'd be disqualified from driving. It is what it is. That's the system we have, and that's the system we're going to use.
With 9 points already, this driver is going to be out of a job. That's one phone call that was definitely not worth making. In the world today, protecting a country's borders is vital.
It is seen as a gateway to the UK.
These are the men and women in uniform responsible for safeguarding Ireland's borders. Stopping.
Look at me, behind the yellow line.
Searching.
Have you been stopped at a checkpoint before?
We just listened to me.
And seizing. Drugs, arms and illegal goods.
If anyone tries to harm me, that dog will tear them to shreds.
Saving lives.
I'd say about 200 kilometres per hour.
And protecting Ireland's inhabitants and millions of visiting tourists.
You could have been here 100 times. It doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get in the 101st time.
They police the ports.
But you have to make sure that definitely nobody underneath the vehicle.
The airports.
Why did you tell me you weren't working?
And the roads.
These are very badly damaged straps.
If you can't drive the truck, shouldn't be on the road.
These are the border interceptors. Coming up, things aren't adding up for a driver and his white van is hanging in the balance.
What way do you pay your insurance?
An American traveller becomes separated from his family and his passport.
Is your wife still on the plane? Is she coming out? No?
And trucks crossing the borders are about to have a spanner thrown in the works.
I'm going to double check that now, but it's coming up as being expired since August 15.
On patrol around the streets of Dublin Airport, road traffic officers Mark Fay and Paddy McElroy are keeping their eyes on the road. Using onboard ANPR technology, their unmarked car is automatically reading number plates and searching for vehicles that shouldn't be on the road. And it's not long before they have a hit. Officer Fay goes to find out why.
Right, who owns the van? What's your own name? Carl, do you have your driving licence on you there, please? How long do you own the van?
While the driver talks to Officer Fay, Officer McElroy radios for a vehicle check to verify the information the driver has given is correct.
Roger, stand by them.
Have you been stopped at any time recently with the vehicle, have you?
I was stopped the very first week I had it.
Okay.
And the insurance disc was out.
Okay.
The documents hadn't gone through.
Okay.
So that has since been sorted.
Have you been stopped on the interim basis? No. Okay, I'm just going to double check and see what the story is or see if there's been any inquiries in relation to the vehicle over the time with your boss at the time now, okay? I'm back to you now then, alright?
The driver explains that he has been previously stopped for no insurance.
Checking. Just want to see if there's any inquiries. Tango Bravo 208 control. Can you just give me any information there in relation to any inquiries since the purchase date?
And his suspicions are confirmed.
Roger, control, thanks. What way do you pay your insurance? On direct debit. And do you miss any payments with that? So you always ensure there's the money in. But why don't you do the 3-month period then for the tax? It's €94, like, you know what I mean?
The driver offers up that with money coming in, he'll soon be able to pay his road tax. But it's not good enough for Officer Fay. Driving without tax is an offence. The officer is left with no choice.
Oh, look, I'm going to be detaining the vehicle under provisions of Section 41 of the Roadside Act of 1961 as amended. Basically, the reason why I'm detaining it is because you had it since October. And whilst I sympathise with you over what you're saying in terms of i.e. financial difficulty or wherever else, the provision is there in the event of some people find themselves in circumstances.
Joe, can you get a tow truck here to assess them for your road, please? Section 41 for this Peugeot partner van, please.
All right, mind yourself, okay? See you. Mind yourself, all right? Good luck, bye-bye.
The vehicle is seized, leaving the man with no white van. Avoiding payment has only added to that driver's financial problems.
And unfortunately now for him it's going to cost him the fees in which to reclaim it, and also he'll have to back taxes and tax it for a minimum period. Why you would purchase a vehicle and not take into account as to the actual outer costs that are involved in relation to putting it on the road. He should have factored into consideration the yearly tax, or, as I said to him, a 3-monthly tax period if he found himself in difficulty.
Being the most westerly of all European airports, Shannon has become a major destination for connecting transatlantic flights. With over 1.7 million passengers a year using the airport, it's vital that Border Control are able to monitor everyone coming and going through its channels. Transferring on a connecting international flight, passengers are kept airside and do not officially enter the country.
Enjoy your stay, lads. Have a great time. Take care now.
This passenger has arrived at Officer Dara Malloy's desk.
What's that, sir?
My wife is being paid. She's got my passport.
Oh, where's your wife?
She is somewhere in the airport. I thought she went ahead of me, but she might have gone to
And, but is your wife still on the plane? Is she coming out? No?
She was already out, but she walked ahead.
And has she gone through immigration here?
I'm honestly not sure. I can't find her. She's with my 2 children.
Oh, your 2 children as well, is it?
Yes, and I have an American passport. That's where I should be.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're fine, yeah, there's no problem there. But she must have gone through immigration if she's not here in the immigration hall.
And we're flying to New York, so I'm just here for a connecting flight.
Okay. Look, I think we have someone trying to page your wife, just to try and get her. So if you just take a seat over there for 2 minutes, sir, and we'll try and get her, okay?
Having found himself at Irish immigration with no ID, a missing family and a flight to catch, the immigration officers are faced with trying to solve the situation.
If it's a connecting flight, obviously if they're not Irish national, it makes it a bit more complicated. The main thing is, look, that people don't panic. Come to us and we can always help you out. We'll always help you out and facilitate by ringing the embassy or ringing some person who may have the passport, or we'll be able to contact someone who will be able to get the passport for them.
Between getting off the plane and just getting over here, there are so many steps and there are very few directions, and so just she went ahead and took the children ahead, but we didn't really think it would be this complicated. Okay, we just figured it would be one way and then we would all meet up ahead, but apparently it's not.
They can't give him leave to land without a passport, and he can't get back through to the transfer route without going ahead through immigration first. They need to make sure he is who he says he is, and the quickest way to do that is to locate his wife and his passport. An announcement is put out around the airport.
Hopefully we'll get it all figured out and we'll get on our flight.
And all he can do is wait.
I think it leaves at 12:45, so we have another hour, so we should be okay. We have the right people working on it, I think. If everyone else gets on the flight except for me, as long as I get my passport at some point, I'll be okay.
The airport team have found his passport, and with official ID, the process can now begin.
He's transferring on to Boston with his family, but his family took the transfer route and he took the route down through Irish immigration. His wife had his passport, so now we've retrieved his passport. We're going to get him back upstairs.
He's now in a race to reach his flight in time.
Oh, we got it? Okay.
Okay, so I'll get you to go through. Your wife and the kids are upstairs.
Okay.
Okay, there was a transfer line that they went down that line.
Okay.
Okay, I'll bring you to Dara and then he'll bring you.
Well, I'm glad I found you.
No, thank you. There you go. I'll bring you back up through security and we'll get you through the fast track.
You found your wife. Very good. And you're going back to the States now today. Very good, sir. Now, take care, sir, and safe home. Take care, sir. Bye now.
Once through immigration, the passenger is escorted through the airport and security to be reunited with his family in time to catch their ongoing flight. Traffic cops Mark Fay and Paddy McElroy are patrolling the roads that link Dublin to its port, airport and the rest of the country. They've already stopped and seized one vehicle for driving with no tax. In 2015, the Garda prosecuted over 7,000 people for driving without insurance. And ever since, they've been cracking down further on this offence. It's not long before the ANPR system flags yet another suspicious vehicle. Officer McElroy speaks to the driver.
Right, that's the reason you're being stopped for. You have no entity, you have no tax in the vehicle either.
Yeah.
Okay, any reason for it?
I have no excuse, a good one I don't.
Do you always not wear your seatbelt?
I just took it off there.
You just took it off, okay. You know you're in danger of your vehicle being seized, do you understand that? Yeah, more than likely you probably will be. I'm just going to do a few checks on it, okay? Does anything else come up with that? She's no excuse.
Officer Fay checks her details against their system.
Control, you might contact Gallons please there for section 41. We are on the N81 outbound there before the Circle K.
In 2016, an AA survey found that the cost of car insurance in Ireland had increased by almost 40% in under 2 years.
So her NCT is out since the end of last year. Tax is out since the start of the year. But the reason she had no reason for it. She just didn't bother doing it.
Unfortunately for this driver, the news isn't good.
No, grand, thanks.
Martina, unfortunately it's bad news for you. Yeah, the vehicle's going to be seized under Section 41 of the Road Traffic Act, of which you'll need to go and get things sorted out. There's no tax or no insurance on it. You didn't give me a plausible reason why you didn't.
Insurance.
Well, you mean tax and NCT. You didn't give me a plausible reason why you didn't have it done. You're driving a vehicle in a public place and it's just, unfortunately we meet under these circumstances, but that's the reason why we're here for.
The female driver is clearly upset as the consequences of having no insurance hits home.
She's no excuse. So an FCPM will be issued in relation to the no NCT that carries 3 penalty points and a fine. On conviction in court is 5 penalty points. There'll be also a ticket issue for the no tax.
In just one patrol, 2 vehicles have been seized, making the roads of Ireland safer for all who use them. At Dublin Airport, working on the non-EU passenger desk, Garda Frank Flynn is checking passports and travel documents.
Just checking the flights now from 12:20.
With Ireland's high standard of living, strong economy and membership of the European Union, it's an inviting immigration destination.
Are you going driving? On the left.
Nearly 30 million passengers use Dublin Airport every year. And it's the responsibility of border officers like Officer Flynn to protect this important entry point to Ireland.
Okay. 90 days, sir. Thank you. Take care.
It demands vigilance, alertness, and an attention to detail.
Hello. Morning. How are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
Good.
A family who've just landed from the US arrive at Officer Flynn's booth.
You're on your summer break. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Now, how long are you staying, ma'am?
16 days and 12.
Lovely. Now, Christopher. Thank you, sir.
Happy with their documents, Officer Flynn allows the family into Ireland, but not before he makes an eagle-eyed observation.
Police officer, Christopher. So am I. Best of luck.
He realized I was a police officer by my wristband. We have like a brotherhood, I guess, so for him to notice my wristband that quick, he was very observant. So I work at the courthouse in the States, and I work warrant unit, and I pick up on details, but I don't know if I'd have picked that up that quick. I was sitting where he was sitting at. That was pretty slick.
For Officer Flynn, It's just a chance to bond with fellow international police officers.
A bond there worldwide, you know, with police forces, and especially USA and the Gardaí go to the US every St. Patrick's Day and march in the St. Patrick's Day parade, you know. Hello, how are you?
Fine.
Good, good.
Next to approach Officer Flynn's desk is a woman travelling alone. Although the lady has arrived from France, she's at Officer Flynn's booth because she's not an EU citizen. She's African.
The lady was from Guinea-Bissau. She had a visa to enter, multi-entry visa to enter Ireland. Oh, you live in France?
Yes.
The woman may live in France, but her West African nationality means she has a different immigration status to a citizen of an EU country. She needs specific documentation if she intends to stay and work.
You have a letter, have you?
Yeah.
The woman produces a letter to show she is part of something called the Atypical Work Scheme. It allows non-EU citizens to work in Ireland for a specific employer, where there is a skill shortage in the profession or they have specialised skills.
She has an atypical work scheme letter from Lidl, so she's entitled to work with them for up to, normally it's 3 months, but she said it would last a year, because she's non-European, so she has to go on the system and register.
With 143 stores currently in the Republic of Ireland, Lidl is one of Ireland's top employers. But as an international company, it also employs specialist staff of other nationalities. With her paperwork in order, Officer Flynn processes the woman's entry.
Lidl are based in Kildare, aren't they?
Yes.
So where are you going to live? In Kildare, is it, or Dublin?
In Dublin.
In Dublin, no? Okay.
In a hotel.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to register with immigration, you know that?
Yes.
Okay.
They send me all information.
All right. If you're living in Dublin, you've got to go to this office.
Okay.
And register with immigration within 90 days, okay?
Okay.
And they will give you a stamp then for your remaining time.
It's critical she registers with the immigration department and that she gives herself enough time to do so.
I will do it this week.
Okay, if you get a chance, yeah. But sometimes it's busy in there, you know?
Okay.
If she fails and misses the deadline, there's a very good chance that she'll not be allowed to stay beyond the initial 90 days, even with the prospect of a job.
See you then. Goodbye. Take care.
In County Donegal, Vehicle Inspector Des Hughes is carrying out safety inspections on trucks at a checkpoint set up by the police. On the border with Northern Ireland, County Donegal is a vital entry and exit point for haulage.
Where we are today is pretty close to the border, so we'll get lots of cross-border traffic. Some vehicles from Northern Ireland registered and Southern registered.
It's not long before they pull over the first truck of the day.
How are you doing?
Vehicle Inspector Hughes immediately begins his inspection, checking every aspect of the truck and its trailer.
They're all reading about 60 to 70 degrees, which tells me these brakes are working.
Both the truck and its trailer are in good working order. But when he checks the safety certification for the vehicle's trailer, there's an issue.
I'm going to double check that now, but it's coming up as being expired since August 15.
August?
Trailers, like every other vehicle on Ireland's roads, have to have a valid certificate of roadworthiness, and this one doesn't appear to have one. Vehicle Inspector Hughes fills in paperwork. The driver's phoned his boss. He claims the trailer is certificated, but in Northern Ireland.
A&E number on this trailer.
Yeah.
It's tested in the north.
Okay. Okay, he's just informed me that there's an A&E number on it, which is the northern trailer number, which is being tested in the north instead of the south.
Unfortunately, for Vehicle Inspector Hughes, he can't confirm that the test happened.
I can check a vehicle as in a truck from the north on my phone for MOT, which is their test, and tax, road tax, but I can't check a trailer.
Instead, he'll need to rely on the owner sending him evidence the trailer is certified.
Will you just get him to email it on to me anyway. I'll have it on the form, right? Just a copy of the test, yeah?
Having done a thorough check of the vehicle, he knows it's in good working order. So he's happy to let the truck carry on its journey. It's not long before they pull in another truck, and he's faced with a similar problem.
Is the truck tested?
That certainly is. It's tested north.
Have you any paperwork there, no?
I don't have any paperwork for this truck.
Can I step in the far side for a second?
You can, of course, as long as them feet's clean.
Vehicle Inspector Hughes carries out a full inspection of the truck and trailer.
We're then with a few miles of the border here, so, you know, people are juggling each side of the border and in their daily work. Some businesses have addresses both sides of the border. Makes it more difficult to get the full story on them and get the full picture of us not testing what is tested and testing it in the south, then testing it in the north. So it's a full-time job.
Happy that they're both roadworthy, he allows the truck to go. But he'll need to be sent the required paperwork. And then it's on to the next truck and trailer. Dublin Port has become a regular stop for cruise ships from around the world. At 330 metres long, the Royal Princess is one of the largest ships ever to have berthed in Dublin. The ship is carrying over 3,000 passengers, all of which will need to be safely managed on and off the site. And it's good logistics that are going to get the job done safely. Under the watchful eye of port security officers, security swing into action.
As you can see, it's mental.
They can't get distracted. Security need to remain vigilant, checking vehicles and managing crowd control.
It's a lot of checking going on and a lot of bodies around the port, a lot of securities coming in.
As it's when things appear chaotic that people intent on causing harm or performing illegal activity can take advantage of the situation. Security need to make sure that every single passenger arriving is properly screened and checked before being allowed on board.
This is organised chaos, that's what it is, and if there's panic, let it be organised.
What are you doing? You can't go that gate, you're holding it all up. Just turn around to the right. You can't go out that way, sir. Follow the bus. Move it up, don't park there. You get a lull, and then there's just like another wave comes in, and they're everywhere.
It's all gone smoothly. With the port security being so organised, any potential risk has been prevented. Everyone is back on board who should be. The Princess Royal can set sail.